out, and you have a lot of damage, you run around and you just get kills.
It's very easy for you to move from the mid lane to the side lanes as well.
It's a very, very different play style on the mid lane.
Well, we'll have to see how RCY pilots it here, coming into this game number 1 of our first best of 2 series of the day. And again, folks, in case you haven't been following the festivities, this one is very important. Because out of the 6 teams in each group, only 4 will make it at least to the survival stage. 2 will be eliminated. And at least for GamerLegion and Rune Eaters, they are both fighting for that coveted 4th spot because their group is highly contested. You got BB team, you got GamerLegion, of course, Falcons and Extreme. It almost feels locked in already that Extreme, Falcons and BB team will be the 3 that grab those first few slots. So the last one is up for the picking, and Rune Eaters, this could be the start of something very special for this roster. The big underdogs here in the group, the ones with the biggest chance to pull off some upsets, they've already got some draws where they really weren't supposed to. And then on the other side, you have GamerLegion, hungry to prove a point, hungry to let the world know that they are not just the, you know, diversity representation from NA. We're going to get through the NA slot and then we're just, you know, not going to get anything done. They want to prove themselves here. Bit of a tussle around the Rune, but no real way of locking down speed.
They're going on different heroes.
They can't decide.
I felt like Trian would have probably died there if they just went on the same hero.
Sure, yeah. A bunch of spells used, nothing gained.
Yeah, but they took blind. I guess against Trian you can take blinding, right? Because I was telling you about this.
The blast the wave, right?
Yeah, the Gothel and Doom. You want to just blast the wave, use Scorcher to push the wave and you drag the second wave. But against Trian, you kind of need to have blinding light. So I think they are going to try to play the lane straight up. Just go in the lane, you have to kind of cut down the trees, and then when the Trian shows, he hits you, you use blinding light, you push him away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of nice against Wind as well, because Wind Ranger tends to do a lot of right click, so the blinding light is kind of useful in the lane. They are playing more of like a trying to take advantage of holding the creeps near your tower. Just use blinding light and push them back and just blast hitting the creeps, you know, near your tower. So I also kind of understand that approach against the Trian Protector. You don't want to be pushing your wave into the enemy tower because it puts you in a lot of danger if the Trian finds you.
Yeah. A lot more avenues for the Trian to work with. We can already see Speed putting the hands out onto Eki.
What is this matchup like? Huh? This Largo in Puck. Who's supposed to come out on top? Is it going to be like just a 50-50 lane? Both heroes, you're going to have an agreement that I'm going to just, you know, mess with the creeps. I'm not going to mess with you. So I hope you do the same. I don't know about that because I think that, again, much like yourself, I don't have a lot of experience with Largo mid. But I can't help but feel like the lick is something that, number one, the Puck will have a very hard time dodging and can put on a lot of consistent damage. Can you even dodge the lick?
You might be able to. As far as I'm aware, it counts as a projectile.
Instant?
It doesn't feel, you know, you can physically see the tongue come out and blap.
Yeah, but if you phase shift, doesn't it like stop the lick animation? Like you don't cast the spell?
I'm not too sure. Maybe his tongue is out midair and he can't take it back. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know whether it can stop the spell. He's already thrown it out with a lot of impunity.
We have a famous saying: once you say something, you don't get to take it back. You know?
Yeah.
Your tongue rolls out.
No takebacks.
Your tongue rolls out. You better make sure you say the right
stand on
thing.
business. Yeah, you can't double back. Pretty sure my parents told me that a lot growing up. #Asian.
Hold your tongue.
Yeah.
Think.
Watch what you say.
Filter. You know, go into your brain twice before it goes out your tongue.
Yeah, I wish I remember that advice for most of my casting career. I'll be honest with you. But bad jokes aside, onto this matchup. I feel like RCY will do pretty decently well.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but Copy getting the 2 water runes. Whew.
That was a nice play there.
Yeah.
Copy realizing that RCY just got his bottle and he didn't make his way. Like he had to sacrifice the creeps there. Like as a mid laner, playing the mid lane, you need to understand in the lane matchups, sometimes you have to sacrifice 1 or 2 CS to get the water runes, you know, because you don't want to give the opponents 2 water runes. Yeah. And this is kind of going to be a problem in the long run, like especially I think in minute 4, like normally when you play mid and your opposing mid laner doesn't get the 2-minute water rune, you can always tell yourself, guys, he's in trouble, you know, he doesn't have a rune. So if you guys can come over during the 4-minute rune or get the bounties away, take the bounties away from him, he has to make a trip back to base.
Yeah.
So it's going to be...
that's the tricky thing, right? Because that's true, but he also has speed spamming living armor on him. So that's tipping the scales slightly out of the Rune Eater's favor. I'm also thinking about Rune Eaters, their support duo. You mentioned that they play well with the Puck, but I'm thinking about the fights around the river. How do they actually get on top of the Largo if they don't catch him with a nice blinding light? They don't have any way of stopping him from just walking away. So I feel like as long as RCY is positioned nicely, he should be okay.
Hey, the clock is gonna be annoying. You burn his mana. I think Largo is a hero that you're very hungry for mana. All your spells need a lot of mana to cast.
True.
So the mana burn on the power cost could be very, very annoying. And it's not just about getting the kill, it's about securing the runes. Frog is the best. I don't think there's any other support, correct me if I'm wrong, that when you go to the rune, I feel like you're already getting the rune if the rune spawns on your side.
Yeah,
Frog is that hero.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. You can't, it's so troublesome to try and get through the cogs. And speaking of showing up to the runes, Ike is gonna be a little late to the party, not able to secure himself the water rune while RCY forces Copy away. Yeah, so this time he wins the resource war.
That is very, very important. If he doesn't get this water rune and the Puck gets the rune, and the supports kind of deny the bottom side, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. This kind of saves the game for RCY.
Yeah, one small thing that I noted in the early game is the focus that GamerLegion have on making sure the triangle is blocked. You can see they have placed the ward and a sentry. The hard camp is not going to come through. And Speed even de-warding because he spotted Eki planting that to safeguard his triangle. So there isn't presently any stacks for maybe the Puck or even perhaps the Doom to go back to and farm up. They've been too preoccupied trying to fight this lane of the Wind Ranger Treant.
It's not an easy lane. Treant Wind Ranger is one of the strongest lanes. Oh, he's going to TP and okay. Casually jaunt back to get his bottle because he didn't get the 4-minute rune.
Yeah, not the biggest of
If you want to go back to base, you have to go back like between 4 and 5 because you do not want to go back to base during the power runes or the shrine.
Oh, this is a very cool TP, but Eki sees this move coming from a mile away. Speed, he's standing right on top of a sentry and he doesn't even know it until the range creep starts giving him a little love tap. Now he'll know his move's been spotted, but he's already made the commitment up here. Meanwhile, look at Rune Eaters. They're being so aggressive out here. Malik's just baiting with his body down to half HP. They want to turn their sights onto Ghost, but again, Rune Eaters just not really making a clear decision on who they want to go onto. They got the Chain Lightning to work with and the Chakra Magic. It is a nice combination, but it doesn't net them anything for now. This is a decent usage of the Catapult timing though. It's doing a bit of damage onto the tower, but nothing that the Treant Protector can't heal off. So good attempt there from Rune Eaters, but again, the execution maybe still early in the morning, you know, not fully clear comms just yet.
It was kind of difficult there as well because on the clockwork, he was pretty damn far away. He came through the gate, so I felt like he just couldn't really connect to the fight. I mean, you see here, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Largo is very, very bad against the clock in these early stages. You're very mana-starved. You need a lot of mana to cast your spells, and its cogs are just going to ruin your day because you're a melee hero.
Sure.
You're going to get in range of the cogs when you're trying to commit for the runes.
Yeah, that's true. Another attempt on the Malik. This time, Big Num will be the one to rotate. First blood is drawn. Ghost shoots him right in the head. Nice setup there, Big Num. Fresh off of contesting the rune, you might imagine that's a little bit of a lapse in communication from Rune Eaters here because they just saw him in the mid. Ike spotted the Lion, they grabbed the Invis rune away, and then, you know, where else can he go?
Yeah, but also this is like a really, really strong lane. It's Treant and Wind Ranger. He can't really... I feel like he just needs to respect. When you're playing this kind of lanes, you just need to accept that anytime you can die. You have to play very, very far back, and you just need to make sure that you don't, play too far forward.
Eyes on the Treant, but out of sentry range now. Again, it's really hard, it seems, for Rune Eaters to actually aggress upon this top lane, even though they're continuously trying. No one's on their Shrine of Wisdom. There's the carry. This is what Dark Lord picked the Clinks for. But already Ghost backing up. They see Dark Lord on the sentry, so he's trying to set up on this Wind Ranger. Speed there to reinforce. And the Clinks alone in this early stage of the game just doesn't have enough in the tank to take down anyone. They'll at least put some pressure on the tier 1 tower. I guess that was their grander goal after all, but they would have really loved to kill onto any one of GamerLegion.
It's a lot committed, a lot of resources. Lycan is absolutely free farming bot.
Yeah.
Like this, I don't know if this is like a very, very good feeling, if you're on the Rune Eater side.
Yeah.
Bringing in so many heroes here 2 times and 0 kills. And now they're gonna lose. I don't know if they're gonna get the rune, but it looks like they're gonna lose the rune as well. I think the rune is actually more important in some cases, especially in this matchup, the Puck against Largo matchup.
Yeah, maybe Copy makes a gamble and John's over to the top side, but doesn't want to risk it.
Can't. It's too late.
So another rune. Big Num will actually snatch up the regen instead of giving it over to the Largo. I guess just rather denying the Puck instead of giving it to his own mid laner. Fade has popped his ultimate. I guess just to escape from the Ike gank. Okay. I mean, he survives and continues farming. Like you said, this Lycan is enormous.
And who does this actually benefit more? Like, who has the better scaling? And Big Num, he's gonna find Eki here, but they don't really have enough damage between the two heroes right now.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising to me. I thought they'd be able to get that kill easily. But in my mind, even though Rune Eaters have really good scaling, I feel like this Lycan timing is going to be terrifying. And that's what I'm the most scared of.
Yeah, it's the first big timing in the game. Like, if you look at both lineups, who has the strongest timing? It's the Lycan with the helm. Like, he is going to have the biggest impact once he gets the helm. You can deal with it somewhat with the Quarter pushing and spamming the wave, but eventually, if he finds you with the Lion or the Trion and they run at you with the creeps, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So until you get the Shard on the Doom, you don't really have very good ways of dealing with it.
Sure. Here's RCY and Big Num. Gang squad going up to the high ground. They got eyes on Copy. Need to land the disables though. Blinding Light to push them away. They still got a little bit to work with, but doesn't seem like it's enough. Copy will actually turn back around and put some pressure onto Big Num. Eats a lick.
Wait,
Chance at the last moment. Copy playing with fire there. That was really close.
He was just intentionally putting us on the edge there. He delayed, he waited, and now Eki is like, he's stuck, because Eki was waiting for him to jump out and he was like, what's going on? I felt like he was waiting.
Look, you're giving an excuse to Eki there because Copy was already out. Eki walks up and he tries to hit an observer ward for some reason. He just doesn't respect the fact that he can die. So Eki, a little bit, I mean, over the past few days, we've seen this as well, right? In some cases, Eki's just pushing out the wave he shouldn't be. He's trying to make attempts. There is a little bit of a lack of respect for his opponent sometimes from this player.
I mean, he knows that the waves need to be pushed up, but they do not delegate it correctly to the right heroes. That's why it felt like he was doing somebody else's job.
Yeah.
Like during the game.
The feeling that I get is sometimes he feels like he can't die. And
no, I don't think that's the feeling. I think the feeling is he knows that the wave needs to go out, but he doesn't know who's supposed to do it, and nobody's doing it, so he does it.
Right.
And then he's the wrong person to do it, so he dies.
He's trying to fix the problem himself, right? Take matters into his own hands.
Yeah. And he's not really fixing the problem in the right way. He's creating another problem along the way.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about this. The fundamentals, how they can bleed one into another and make a small little decision a big mistake. Fade here with his helm. Ooh, wait. Farming the cam? That is not what you want to happen. I mean, he must have just gotten caught out by the neutral creep spells or something like that. He was farming that stack along with Eki. Everything looks swell and dandy, but the Puck just dying for really no reason. That's going to slow down the progression at least a little bit. Far from ideal there.
That is a big blunder right there. Double question mark, Mike.
Yeah, a little bit of morning shakes, that's for sure, but at least a small sign of hope because Rune Eaters, they're still making an aggressive play up into the top lane. No real way of locking down Ghost. They're going to commit the coil, try and break it, throw out the Doom as well. Everything committed onto this Wind Ranger, but they don't have the damage enough for it. It is indeed forced to the ultimate. And Fade's now TP'd in. So GamerLegion bringing the appropriate response. They've now brought 5 of their heroes up here just to save the Wind Ranger.
And so far, the game is just about Rune Eaters attacking the safe lane on GamerLegion. GamerLegion has just been busy defending and just not really trying too much on the other side of the map. I felt like it's also kind of weird. Okay, they can respond, but right now, no Doom. They should use the Lycan to get a tower. Lycan is very, very strong. He has his shapeshift. He has the creeps. He needs to kind of look for a way to do something right now for his team.
Yeah. He tried to TP out there thinking that'd be a more serious attempt from Rune Eaters, but
this is something I don't really like about GamerLegion. They tend to be very, very greedy in the early stages because Fade is a very greedy player. He tends to play for his own game a lot.
Spotted Dark Lord. This could be a good move. If it's not Fade, at least Ghost can get it done.
Yeah.
Dark Lord not going to be able to escape from this situation. The Wind Ranger pummeling him down, but it might come at the cost of the opposing carry. Ghost is going to get healed up by the living armor. The damage block doing what it can. Wind Run, is it really going to help him get out again? Ghost survives a second attempt on his life. GamerLegion, they've done a great job defending against these moves and striking on their own. Sure, it might not be the Lycan like you're saying, Winter, but still, getting a kill on the opposing carry, you'll take that any day.
Somebody has to do the dirty work. Somebody has to move. And Largo kind of feels like he wants to sit and farm a little bit more. He gets the tower mid, so this is really, really good news for GamerLegion. The carry moved and he created space and distraction, and now Fate, he's gonna get caught.
It's not really taking quite enough damage though. Ike needs to lock him in place, push him around, but max move speed like and hard to keep in place. Speed's gonna help him out with the living armor again. Fate taking them for a tour around Paris. How do you like all the sights? How do you like my bite, Eki? Straight onto Ike as well. Might be a second kill if they're not careful. Fate, he was the one who was supposed to be under threat. He's the real threat himself.
And this is really, really nice for GamerLegion. They have been able to move Rune Eaters around the map, try to distract them from what they actually want to do, making them react, you know. Like first they get the kill on Dark Lord here. This is very nice. Ghost makes a rotation. He has a partner in him. It's very, very important to have the Trim Protector here because the Wind could not have done this on his own.
Absolutely. And all the defensive aspects coming into play, right? The Ash Legion shield, such a value.
I think here Copy made a pretty big mistake. He didn't wait for the John because his coil was about to be ready. I felt like he could have definitely killed off Ghost there.
Yeah, just getting a bit hasty perhaps with the spell usage. And here, Eki not respecting the damage. I think Speed doing a really good job hounding that poor Kotal, who finds himself at the receiving end of a very nasty bite from Fate.
This is... Every time the game just becomes unclear of what to do or their moves keep failing, then you will see Eki feeding. Because he kind of is the person leading the game, the direction of the game, the early stages, if Malik is not involved. And I just feel like he is a person that would just try to force things too much, because based on the movements that we've seen so far in the first 3 days, every time something wrong happens, they tend to force things. They tend to try to push things too much in the next move. It's a psychological thing, and they're not calm enough. They need to understand that sometimes things do not go your way, and you need to stay calm, sit back, and just wait. Be patient.
It can be a bit of a snowball effect if we're being honest, right? Because when you start to feel like the game's slipping out of your hands, that's where you think to yourself, okay, let me try and grab it back real quick while it's still within my reach. Like you see it in front of you, you're like, oh.
It's not exactly like that. I feel like he knows that something needs to be done. Like he sees something bad happening, and then the minute something bad happens, he doesn't feel like he's going back to basics. We need to hold our area, just wait a little bit more. Just wait for people to show, or just wait for them to go into your vision. They are always walking across the river into opposing territory to try and make a play. Because making a play doesn't mean you walking into the enemy side. It could be you setting a trap on your side and waiting for them to come.
Yeah, that's something I've realized with Rune Eaters. They don't really set traps. Their only options for playmaking are to attack.
Yeah, to defend. Basically, setting traps is equivalent to defending. You put wards and sentries on your side of the map, and you wait. You have a couple of heroes there just ready to break the smoke in case they come.
Yeah, spot a Treant Protector walking over, something like that.
And then you TP heroes in to reinforce. You know, I feel like that's something that's not very prominent in their gameplay.
Hex out, Copy should be fine, but Ghost around the corner, Shackle Shot not connecting. Copy able to jaunt out to the left, but still being hounded by Ghost. Thinking about the Doom, but I think he knows, even if he dooms Ghost here, it's not going to be able to secure a kill. Onto the easier target of the Lion, but GamerLegion, this fight is absolutely theirs with a beautiful Shackle onto 2. Ghost, he is popping off right now. This Wind Ranger is looking terrifying. A very active carry for a man on a mission. RCY with a double kill as GamerLegion mop up 4. Off on the other side of the map, the Helm of the Overlord Fate gets a solo kill onto the Dark Lord. I mean, GamerLegion, they woke up ready to prove something today.
And they're playing on top on the Rune Eater side. If they're playing on top right now with the bot wave all pushed to the tier 2, the Klings cannot join the party. Klings is a carry that you want to fight in the early stages. You want to be, involved in all these exchanges. And here somehow they're just very split up. They're not really coming together as a team. They have a couple of heroes top, 3 or 4 heroes top, and the Klings cannot really come to this fight. He's just way too far. And whereas if you look on GamerLegion, they're pushing all the waves and they're connecting all their heroes naturally to a location. So they had the numbers advantage here.
Yeah, and a lot of the times when you're playing this Kotal, you want to make sure you have some semblance of a formation, right? Someone out in front, the Kotal's here healing the bodies, supplying the pressure from the back, but this time round, it did not pan out that way. Fight started with Copy just being found on the front lines. Now, back to live, seems like somehow the Wind Ranger has been taken down, maybe sticking around in enemy territory for a bit too long there.
Yeah,
They get to
either
catch
way,
that.
Rune needed that. You know, they needed something to go their way. 18 minutes Rune.
Oh, damn. Copy. Should be able to survive this one. Not enough damage between the three of them.
Yeah, he is not having the stellar game that we've seen from yesterday on his park. You know, this game today, he is... I felt like he's playing with fire a little bit too much for my liking. The times that he died, it felt like he was really, really cocky. He was trying to push his limits, and it was just, you know, not the right call. And he gets caught, and he dies, and now his team is in trouble.
Oh, I hear a wolf at the door ready to strike. He's hungry for some prey, but Rune Eaters, they know it too. Full retreat now. Speed's going to try and catch his hands onto Copy, but this is an elusive fairy dragon moving at a very high speed. Maybe the easier target. Onto Eki. Horseback's not going to get you too far. Easy pickings. With that freshly completed Spirit Vessel, RCY will get the kill. Actually, it's Fate to find the last hit somehow.
Yeah, he also revealed his Orchid there. They have Orchid on Lycan right now.
Oof.
So, Copy has to be careful with pushing his limits right now because he can easily die in the team fights if he gets caught.
What is this setup here from the side of Rune Eaters? They're creeping around the GamerLegion Tier 1. They found themselves Speed, but not the easier target. Thinking about the Doom, but again, fogged out. I mean, Malik, he just can't get his hands on goals this entire game. Dark Lord will be in trouble. You got the Doom out on the Frog. The Frog's got to retreat. Where is the rest of GamerLegion?
And it's so disjointed. They needed to wait for the call before they Doom. They could have killed one of the calls, either the Wind or the Largo.
They're just kind of throwing out spells all random, right? They're not really putting them together in a way that makes sense, and because of that, they lose out on all of these kills. Sure, they find the supports, but...
Yeah, all this comes down to the comms. Like, it's important to say, guys, I need another 5 seconds. I'm about to come to the team fight soon. I mean, you can see from the dots here, the puck is connecting to the fights, but then he's saying, I'm coming, but he doesn't say... I felt like it's a communication issue. He's saying he's coming, and Doom hears, puck is coming, so he immediately uses his Doom on the Largo. But he doesn't understand that the puck needs another 3 seconds to arrive, or 2 seconds to arrive. So it's very important to say that I need 2 seconds, wait, instead of saying I'm coming. Because when you say I'm coming,
it's false sense. Like, what's the distance?
What's the distance?
Right, we need to check the map's ETA. You know what I mean? How long does it take?
You need to give ETA, just like your Grab ride. You need to tell how long are you going to take to arrive in the location.
Think about it, if you really think about it, Winter, technically, they're all on the way to TI as well. But are they at TI? No, they're at EWC. You know what I mean? You gotta be specific. It seems like another situation where we went to a replay and then we come back, one of the carries is there. Dark Lord somehow been picked off. I believe he was trying to push the Tier 1 tower by himself.
Yeah, bro, it is just such a Malaysian thing. You're always late, you know. You're saying on the way. On the way doesn't mean that you'll arrive on time.
By the time you reply the message on your friend's asking you where you at, you're like, oh, on the way, you just left your house. Don't lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're technically on the way, but...
yeah, so I felt like Park was saying on the way there. When Doom decided to use his ultimate, he was hearing Park saying, I'm on the way, I'm coming.
Yeah, it just didn't register. And you can't entirely blame Malik, right? I think so far, GamerLegion, it feels like the third or fourth fight that he's raised his hands to try and get the Doom, and then the Wind Ranger hides into fog in the tree line, and then the Treant Protector overgrows. It's hard for him to really find a clean connection. That's the main problem right now that I'm seeing. Malik's not quite having the impact on the Doom as he usually does. And Rune Eaters, it feels like in this situation, this mid-game period where we know they're a bit weaker, there's no clear voice, right? What is the game plan here? What are they trying to accomplish? I'm not too sure.
I don't think they know either.
Yeah.
This just looks like one of those games in the first 3 days where they're behind in the beginning of the game, and then they tend to try to force the issue.
Yeah.
Instead of just being calm, farm a little bit, just wait for them to come into a vision. I'm not suggesting that they do nothing. Yeah. I'm suggesting that they be defensive about it. You can set up a position, wait for your opponents, make sure you de-ward the area, and just wait for them to come, because you do not want to be fighting in their location of the map, because you can't reinforce with enough heroes. But if you're fighting, say, on your Tier 2 tower, you're fighting on your outpost, you can TP heroes in and you can create the numbers advantage. Yeah, sometimes the best offense is defense, right? You just got to lock things down, bait them in, and wait for GamerLegion to make some sort of mistake. The best teams are the teams that are really good at playing defense. Yeah, because you just can never break them. It's easy to attack, you know. Everybody knows how to attack, but not everybody knows how to defend. That's true. Defense is a bit of a higher level skill. Even in tennis, okay, never mind. Something's happening here. I'll have to wait for the next moment to speak about my story about tennis. Okay, yeah. Well, the moment's going to pass very quickly. That's just a clockwork there. You can continue about your story about tennis if you'd like. in tennis, the players that are winning the most are the players that are very good defensively.
Okay.
The defenders are winning the tournament. So that tells you a lot about, I think, strategy in general.
I don't know what to tell you. It's not called Attack of the Ancients. It's in the name.
It's called Attack of the Titan.
That's a different thing altogether. You're getting mixed up. Dark Lord again being hounded archer to archer. It's not a fair fight. One of them can fire at the rate of light, and damn, there goes the clinks. Again, you can see GamerLegion, they are doing exactly what you said, right? Defending. They're waiting in these areas. They know that Rune Eaters are so hungry to attack them, and they're just chilling. They're like, oh, you know, you're gonna come by and die? Why not? Serve up the plate of bones. I don't mind.
The whole game has been a fight at top. About fighting at top. Rune Eaters attacking, bringing numbers, but they're not full committing because they can't bring the clings in, or they can't bring whoever is on the map. It's not natural because they're pushing they're pushing out the waves and they're not using the gate to connect the top. And you're playing Instrument Protector. You cannot poke this hero.
Bro, the tier 1 tower at top is still alive at 24 minutes and they've been attacking that thing the whole damn game. It's like, this is the most classic Train Protector gameplay you could ask for. And all the while this is happening, GamerLegion are still going across the map, finding these pickoffs. I mean, Ghost, he is dominating this game.
Yeah, indeed. He is having the time of his life. I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because he understood that he needs to be in the line of fire. He needs to be defending the towers because he has a Largo, he has a Lycan. Those heroes need to farm, right? Somebody has to...
Really? Again, another setup in the top lane? Don't you know this is not your spot to attack? A Shackle means that Copy will just get shot down. Everywhere there are Rune Eaters heroes, Ghost is there to put an arrow in their head. He just can't stop killing them.
I don't know at what point they need to understand they're throwing their heads into the walls. They're banging their heads into the walls too much, you know. One time, I kind of understand. The second time,
we can close one eye.
Okay, maybe you think something went wrong the last time you're trying to rectify the problem. But the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time.
At some point, you got to realize, I mean, the way that Rune Eaters are playing, Ghost doesn't even need to fire an arrow. They're running the arrows directly into their own heads. They are not even shot. They're in the quiver. But I don't know. Rune Eaters are just kind of doing a headbutt straight into them.
Yeah, this is just a classic game of attack against defense.
Yeah.
And the attacking side gets impatient. They keep throwing bodies into the defense because there's always an advantage for the defender. You have a tower, you can TP in, you can reinforce. But again, you know, Malik is here, he's getting cut.
Big target, Ghost. I think he understands that he can't quite finish this one off. Holy Locket with the heal, and now the Doom onto Ghost. Maybe it's trapped back the other way, but...
What is going on? I mean, they're not even ready.
What? Where are the rest of Rune Eaters? The way that he shot that Doom out, it looked like there was backup coming on the way, but it was just Eki. He used everything, and there was nothing left to finish off Ghost. You use a Doom and you die?
Yeah,
Bruh,
I think this game, mentally, they're out. It's over for Rune Eaters. I think mentally, they need to reset. If they continue in this trajectory, even in this trajectory, the game is already, I want to say more or less over. But yeah, you have to find that spark to reignite the passion for the game. Because right now, Rune Eaters, they just want to leave the game.
Yeah, it's kind of that. You're on a very fine line, right? Because on one end, you know that this game is really important for your placement in the groups. It's probably you and GamerLegion that are going to be fighting for that final spot. That's the pressure that might be on their minds right now. But I completely agree with you. It feels like they, at least gameplay-wise, they're not really on the same page. In fact, I don't even think they're reading the book anymore. They're waiting for the next chapter because this one, they just want a blank slate. It is looking ugly, Winter.
Very, very ugly. They don't even want to be here right now. They just need to find a way to bring 5 heroes to the top area. And finally, Dark Lord has enough. I'm going to do it myself.
Okay. Tier 1 tower falls at 26 minutes. After what feels like, what? 10 attempts?
Forever. It feels like forever.
It feels like forever. I feel like the entire game... I mean, our Observer, actually, you know, he could just leave the camera on the top side and he'd probably catch 90% of the action. Apart from these pickoffs, of course, that Fade has been doing a good job for. Ike with the defensive hook shot. That's become a bit of a specialty of his. Gets out of trouble and wastes some of the time. Not too bad. But yeah, I think the map play is really nice from GamerLegion, right? Because Ghost, he's tag teaming up with some of his support, some of his allies, and then anyone who's not with that first hunting party, they're running around with Fade's Helm of the Overlord creep, and they're finding opportunities there as well on the map. So overall, really solid stuff from GamerLegion, taking full control of this game, number 1. And we were coming into this one thinking that Rune Eaters will be able to put up a pretty good fight. We weren't sure who had the advantage, but if this is the form that the teams are playing in right now, I think this might be a very easy series for GamerLegion.
I mean, Speed has just been hunting these Klings down wherever he goes.
Yikes.
I mean, he's doing a really, really good job just setting up for the Lycan, setting up for the win to find the Klings.
Yeah.
Because Klings is always alone. Like this hero, you need somebody to protect you. And I felt like the team movements on Rune Eaters, they don't really have the right people walking with each other. I mean, if you compare that to GamerLegion, if you notice, the trainer is always walking with the Win or the Lycan. The Lion is always walking with the Largo.
Or the Lycan creep, right?
Nobody is walking alone.
Yeah.
So if they find anybody alone, it's a kill. This is something that you have to really talk about. You have to understand in the game who's supposed to be working with who.
And this is just one of those frustrating situations where you're on Rune Eaters and you feel like no matter where you go on the map, you're outnumbered. You ask yourself, how is this possible? Well, you find yourself, Eki. If you're not fighting together, it's gonna happen this way. Have a Doom available, pop the BKB, trying to go on an easy target, pop the Doom on the Lion, okay, and the buyback. This is certainly something. They didn't stop Ghost because he has the second life and you finished off the Lion with the Doom, but all you find is a support so far for a buyback and 2 kills. I mean, now GamerLegion can just wait for their Lion to come back on, TP to the outpost, and continue the aggression.
Yeah, Rune Eaters just, yes.
It's a mess right now.
It's very mess. I felt like their defensive part is just really, really lacking. There, they weren't really set up properly in the outpost area. They didn't really have enough heroes defending the area. I think Eki wanted to defend the area, but his team was just not there. You know, either they didn't want to go or they were just slow.
Yeah.
If you're not on the high ground when the team fight is about to happen, when the action is about to commence, you are not defending that location.
Every time I hear this Lycan shapeshift, I'm terrified for my life. Looks like the eye in the forest spotted out the Klings, but he gets out of sentry range. So no purchase there for GamerLegion. Feels like one of the first times the Klings has actually survived the gank in a hot minute. Copies on the opposing side of the map just acting as a living ward. Meanwhile, the rest of GamerLegion continuing their aggression in these 2-man, 3-man groups. Spot a blast out in the mid lane. Eki will not show himself, but goes on the chase. Max move speed, 4-star forward, Hex up onto the high ground. The Wolf is on his tail, and down goes the Coddle. Eki, 0, 8, and 3. Was it 0, 6, and 3? I'm not sure whether I saw that correctly.
Yeah, he's not able to find a way, you know, to just connect the game. I felt like a lot of the moves that he's been making, he's been just doing it alone. Koto is not a alone hero.
No, not at all. I mean? He's a completely collaborative. It's like trying to make plays on the map yourself as a wisp or something. It just doesn't make sense.
Some heroes are okay if you're walking alone, like if you're playing some bounty hunter, you're running around. In this hero, you're trying to scout, but not Koto. Koto needs
popping his BKB. Ghost trying to bait a reaction. Will get it in the form of a coil. I mean, Rune Eaters are just pressing spells out of fear and panic right now. Their heads all muddy, they don't know what's come over them. This has been a very foggy morning in Paris. Immediate stun now. Maybe go for the easy kill. Ike will get licked back over, hounded by the Wolves as per usual. This Clockwork does not have a good time against Lycan. And GamerLegion calmly but surely sieging the base, keeping Ghost up and running. Focus fire is there. The Rax will be an afterthought in short notice. Happy with just that. They'll back up. 20 seconds left on the Aegis. They'll let it expire naturally. Maybe get back to it. Keep controlling the map. Keep pushing out their advantage. Keep planting these wards and leaving these eyes all across the map. A Scythe of Vice complete for Fade. On top of the Orchid. So whoever he gets on top of, they are going to be picked up, silenced up. They ain't going to hear a word. They're going to be dead before you know it.
That's what I would call the anti-Puck build.
And what does the Puck have to counter that? Let's have a quick look at the Puck inventory, please. Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah. You're kind of hoping the Octarine Core maybe... You apply a blue filter over it, pretend it's a Lincoln Sphere or something like that. That's the best thing you got, I believe.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything, so he has to be...
Dala on the front lines. They don't have the vision. Dust is a little bit late there from Big Num. He didn't know what he was looking at.
How did that Shackle not latch on the hero behind?
Malik's got a lot of surface area. Maybe the string just wasn't long enough. Big old Doom. But you kind of get the feeling, Aegis or not, this game is very, very close to its conclusion in terms of just not necessarily.
If you think about the team fights, I don't think it's impossible for Rune Eaters to win if they can find the call into the Clinks. You know, if Clinks is there, you find a good call, you get the Doom onto the Largo.
Yeah.
I think
there's a good chance,
there's a chance to still win the game, but they're playing like they're not thinking that there's a chance to win the game because everyone is just split up. If you look at the minimap all the time, they are not together. If they're holding a location together, GamerLegion is running into them, they land a good call into the Clinks with the barrage of arrows. Why not? I think there is a way to win the fight.
Yeah.
It's hard, I agree, you know, they are 13k behind, but there's still a way for them to win the fights. But they're playing like with a defeated mentality. They're just walking around the map, oh, we can't do anything, we're behind. And everybody is just in their own island trying to farm.
They're not playing to win.
Yeah, they're not trying to give themselves an opportunity to still defend an area and come back into the game. Because to come back into the game, you need to be able to win a team fight. And how are you going to win the team fight is by setting up an area, a perimeter of defense. You choose a high ground, you put a wall, you put a sentry, and you wait. And they come in and you have towers or some sort of outpost to TP to, and you can reinforce, use buybacks.
Yeah.
Because when you're behind, you need to use buybacks to win the fight.
Yeah, Blink Dagger complete for Fade. He's on the prowl again. Looks like Speed has found a juicy target. Oh boy, Dark Lord. Bit too quick for them this time. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Winter. I feel like once you have such a deficit in play, you need to try and control as many factors as possible. And setting up that perimeter, it just allows you to have the vision in this area, at least gives you information about how you can play that one out.
Yeah, this is a good place to start.
Yep.
Triangle, make sure you can farm the triangle, put up a wall, a sentry, and just wait. Just wait and make sure you're ready when they come.
No more splitting up, everyone's got to come together.
Look at what they're doing. They're running away. They get the area back and they farm the camps and they just leave the area. They don't bring enough heroes. They need to come back and they need to hold this area. Like Koto's here with the Doom, like you can only have a certain amount of heroes farming at the same time. If everybody is farming, you're just gonna die, you know. You can't do that.
Yeah. Pretty interesting, some circles being drawn on the map. So Ghost has completely circled up the bottom side jungle, of which there are no bits of vision, and no one on Rune Eaters or GamerLegion are there. Copy's gonna blink over, not sure where he's gone to. Oh, to the south side. That's where Speed cannot catch him. Nice little escape there from the park. But yeah, meanwhile, Rune Eaters, they're trying for smoke themselves. So again, look at the map. Circles being drawn.
Where's the Doom?
Yeah, where are they going is the question. Looks like the Doom's TPing to the bot lane to Fox, clear out the wave, and then try and very subtly join them. Tormentor's there, they're on the prowl looking for some action. Malik is playing dumb. RC off the mark. That was not the hook shot that you wanted, but really, how did it miss? Things are gonna get messy now for the side of Rune Eaters as they need to scramble and run, but against the Wolf, you can't really quite go nowhere. Maybe kite him out on the high ground. Doom out again onto the Lion. He has been sentenced to death every single time, but goes on his heels. Overgrowth will keep Malik in place, and that is a dead Doom, a dead Coddle, and looking now at Copy. Sure, the line will go down, but this is so worth it for GamerLegion, especially since they get the park. They make that one look easy. Ghost just cruises on into the fight and takes down his targets.
Yeah, I mean, once again, same problems, you know, they're not really finding ways to connect with their heroes. I think the moment you see an enemy hero and your Doom is not there to Doom the Largo, how are you supposed to fight? Like, sure, the Clock missed his hook, but even if the Clock lands the hook here, then what? Then what? There's no Doom. He's not here.
Yeah, then he pops the BKB anyway and continues to walk out, right? Like, it's the same result.
Yeah, it's just a similar problem. They're not really finding a way to connect 5 heroes. I think the best way I've seen them play in the team fights or in the game is Malik is in the smoke. He has a dagger. He's the hero leading the smoke. Whenever he's not leading the smoke, the team just doesn't really connect on their moves.
Yeah. You kind of get the idea that Malik is probably a very clear and vocal just presence in the team.
Yeah, when he's connecting, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. When he's the one late to the party, the initial hunters just don't know how to bring him in a nice way. The GamerLegion, they will escort themselves to the high ground, very happily take perhaps the second lane of Rax. No pop for another 10 seconds. They can afford to... They don't need to rush though. That's the thing. GamerLegion, they have that second life available on Ghost. Hell, I don't know how they take down the first.
can't even touch the banner. The banner is going to keep the push going.
I mean, who's going to go in and get the banner? Immediate finger. Lion in some trouble, but nice force staff down to the low ground. Big Lum will be fine. And even keeping himself magic immune with the drain. Coiled up, but where's the finish? They're trying to get some damage onto him, but he's being rapidly healed up by RCY, and the puck just can't afford to commit on that jaunt. So Big Num will be fine. It's kind of a risky initiation there. They almost got the kill.
Yeah, they already get the Rex. I was surprised that he actually decided to jump.
Yeah, pretty spooky stuff. Keeping things disciplined are GamerLegion. They understand how important this match is for them. Don't want to be losing to another team anymore. Ghost will lose that first life. That's a lot of damage. This is not necessarily the setup that you're looking for on GamerLegion. Doomsday onto the Largo, that's what you were waiting for. And now Ghost is left high and dry. Still has his BKB to work with, and a shackle onto 2. Come on. That is going to screw Malik over and look towards the clock as well. Ghost looks like he wasn't in any trouble after all. I don't know what I was so worried about.
And it's nothing to kill him if you use the Doom on the Largo. I mean, I kind of understand he needed to Doom the Largo. But then who's going to kill the Wind right now? Like, the Klings is the only one capable. Maybe with the Coil. I just didn't really have enough in the tank. You know, the Largo, keeping them alive, the living armor. And Lycan is just blinking in and initiating.
Yeah, because he can absolutely afford to do that. Buybacks come through. We know Rune Eaters, they're not going to go down without a fight, and they're trying to repel the aggressors from their base. But you buy back like that and you don't find any pickoffs on the way out, that is a rough situation. Of course, it was already rough. It's been rough. Rune Eaters, they have not had a semblance of a break this entire 39 minutes at this point. Just feels like they've been constantly on the back foot with not many options to play around, or even when they did have options, they just weren't taking them. They weren't setting these traps. They weren't playing defensive. They kept on ramming their heads into the GamerLegion wall. The GamerLegion are going nowhere. They put a burning army down. That's a wall of archers trying to repel the aggression. The GamerLegion, they have so much sustain to work with. They're not worried about the thing. If this spam is going to start stacking up, RCY needs to help his team out with the heals. Almost level 25 on the Wind Ranger. Scary business. What a superstar performance from our boy from Malaysia. 16-1.
Yeah, he was definitely the shining star of this game. Defending the tier 1 top, making the rotations, even though I felt like it should be Lycan. You need to split up the jobs sometimes, but I felt like for GamerLegion in specific, Fate plays just like another carry. So somebody else needs to do the job of rotating and making plays, and it's Ghost this game.
Yeah. Can I just say, I feel like Ghost has been such an amazing fit for this team. The way that he plays, maybe the level of, I guess, direction that he provides to the team as well from the carry position, it's very evident. You can tell that they've really transformed since this roster move and had some time to figure things out. I'm glad he's found himself a home, you know. Ghost, he's been bouncing around for a little bit. For some time on Nigma, some time in the Chinese teams, but he's always been a very talented player.
Man, it's also about blending in. You need to understand what is your role in this team.
Yeah.
Do you need to play a lot more greedy, or do you need to be more team-based?
I mean, I think he has the blend on lock. He's doing everything he needs to and more this game. Not quite much more you can ask for from your carry player. A smoke noted by Rune Eaters. GamerLegion understand that the defense is being mounted and a trap is being set, which is why they're playing a bit more cautious. Back out to the side, don't want to take any chances, wait for someone to show themselves. Even though they have that AD rune on Ghost, they don't want to risk things.
Everyone fears the throw on the high ground.
Yeah, they do. 1% win probability for Rune Eaters. Again, folks, this match, even though it's not the last group stage match, very likely decides which one of these teams will survive onto the next stage of EWC and which one of them will go home early. With nothing but disappointment and a bit of regret over how the past few days went.
GamerLegion can just use the creeps.
They can.
Just let the Zoo do the job. Just wait for...
No need to commit, right?
Yeah, wait for Rune Eaters to to do something, and then you can jump. But they're trying to follow the wave. They're going to follow the wave in from middle.
RCY will show himself. Ike thinking about a hook shot now, has to run back. Might be another defensive hook shot. 2 charges of the leg, enough to finish him off. Ike's gonna go down. They have their eyes on Malik. He doesn't even get the chance to pop the Doom because he's busy to run. He's busy running. And Ghost got the racks. Burning Barrage is trying to scare GL away, but again, it just tickles them, and RCY has them back up to full. Now, that being said, that is the shapeshift being used, so maybe GL will show some restraint and back up a little bit. Wait for that cooldown to be available again. Of course not. Of course not. The 23k ahead, what's to wait for? Goes with the auto attacks, use the wolves, use the creeps. No big commitment this time from Big Num. He knows that there's no need. And this will be mega creeps. GamerLegion tightening their grasp around the neck of Rune Eaters right now. Can't quite hear a sound from Rune Eaters. They're being completely choked out. Not even a whisper. Sheesh. Look at the damage dealt from this Wind Ranger. My goodness. 47.8k? I mean, you talk about a role in the team. How about doing everything by your damn self, taking matters quite literally into your own hands?
And he also tanked a lot of damage, you know. Not
He
just
did.
dealing damage, but he tanked a lot of damage.
He's all up in the front lines. He's just hoping that the Largo kills him. And in fact, look, 15k healing from the Largo alone, just constantly keeping his team sustained against the spam that Rune Eaters have.
Yeah, right now in the game, in the meta, there's just a lot of these heroes that can keep people alive. And it creates a problem of you don't have enough damage to kill off heroes in a team fight. And I think this is probably also one of the reasons why the games have been getting longer and longer. You just do not have enough damage to kill off heroes.
That's true.
I mean, it's one of the factors because a lot of the spells and early game momentum has been nerfed.
Yeah.
So you kind of don't really have the tools to attack as quickly.
You can't just bowl over your opponents as easily, right? Your bowling ball's not big enough.
So it was so impressive that yesterday when we had the LGD match, they were able to snowball so quickly. They figured out what they needed to have in the draft to be able to end the game 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
You mean, for us, you mean playtime, right?
Sorry, yeah, playtime. Yeah, not LG. Sorry.
Yeah, no, there's a South America, you know, easy to mix them up. P-time were amazing. And you were so happy. You were nerding out about their Dota 2. Not really the same level of sharpness this time round with GL. Still a little bit of shakiness in some moments, but the balance works, right? It's not perfect. We would have loved to see maybe the Lycan or the Largo get a bit more involved, but if Ghost can do it by himself, then why not? Maybe against a sharper opponent, Ghost might have been punished in some of those circumstances, but not this game.
And GL is just doing the right thing. It's waiting for Roche. They've already acquired mega creeps. They're not really pushing the envelope. They're just waiting to make sure there's zero chance, you know, for Rune Eaters to win. And this is absolutely the right call. They're forcing Rune Eaters to come out of their base and try to contest Roche. Because if you give up the Roche, it is
GG.
Pretty much GG. It is already GG, but
it is. It's GG in capital letters.
There's still some maybe copium left, you know. You can maybe wait for that one throw.
I mean,
but against the Aegis?
Yeah,
no.
Nah, it's not happening. The second life of the Wind Ranger going to make sure the Doom is ineffective. There's also the Link-ins with the shard from the Largo. We've seen this before, the on-call being buffed. So the duration that you have when you give Link-ins to your allies, it's mirrored on you, and it's longer overall than usual. It's going to be so hard for Malik to connect on these Dooms, and it's not like he's had a good time so far trying to find his opportunities. He's been forced, in many cases, to Doom the Lion, which is just, you know...
strange.
I think I understand it. Maybe they think...
They're not winning the team fight.
They're not winning the team fights. They probably believe that if they doom the Lion, the puck will be freed up to play the game. But then you have another Lion in the form of Fade, right? He's got a Hex, he's got a Silence. He's basically the same thing. He's got a Blink too. So the puck's game isn't going to get any easier. But he is level 25, so he's starting to scale, do quite a bit of damage. Not the best KDA, but 500 last hits, a lot of money in the pocket.
The lion and the wolf, my friend.
Yeah. The two predatory beasts ready to take down the poor fairy dragon. Tail is old as time. I mean, this was just an excellent Lycan pick in my eyes. And I don't know whether the Clinks was a good enough response. I mean, I can understand what they were saying, and I agree, because in the previous days, Winter, you were saying how having an Invis hero really unlocks the map for you, but then it also sets you up for potentially falling into opponents' traps, right? When you're running into these sentries, when your opponents are playing defense well, you get caught out instead.
Yeah, heroes that buy Shadow Blade are very, very nice in the current meta, like Tiny, for example. There are a couple of heroes that like to buy a Shadow Blade, not just because of the Silver Edge, but just because of the way you move around the map. It creates opportunities for you to get pickoffs. Yeah, I think that is what winning teams games right now. You find pickoffs with items that can allow you to do it. The daggers, the Shadow Blades, or you have the right heroes paired together. Yeah, you can kill anything. There are some combinations you can kill anything.
It seems like the concept that is winning games is you need to have some sort of way of dealing with the big map, right? Pushing out the waves and getting that advantage. And then you also need a complementary component of making sure you have a way of cleaning up your opponents once you've pushed out the map.
Because it's very, very hard to bring a lot of heroes to a location. So it's very important to have the mindset, or at least a plan in mind, that you need to have a two-man squad that can kill, okay, maybe not everything, but almost any hero on the opposing side.
They're like the Hitman squad, right? Anytime you've done clearing out the map, you're like, okay, any remaining trash on the map in terms of enemy heroes, wipe them out.
This is why we always talk about in a draft, where do we have an unkillable object on the map that you can put. Or you have a Helm of Dominator hero, you can just shove waves, and it's very difficult for your opponents to kill you. And it creates the situation where they cannot move out with their killing pair, and you can move out with your killing pair because you're just using creeps to push out the wave.
Yeah. There's a lot of macro sort of details when it comes to this discussion, but one thing's for sure, on the macro level, at least in this game, I think draft-wise, GamerLegion have all the tools that they need to accomplish their goals, right? They're pushing out the waves, they're setting up with the Lion and the Treant Protector on the sidelines, they have low committal with that Lycan, as well as now the Shard, right? The Wolves are just constantly shoving out, and Mega Creeps. Rune Eaters, you got to admire the resilience and the grit that they have. They never tap out until the very last moment. But to be honest, it's felt like it's been close to the last moment for a while now. Now with this Aegis, that's what GamerLegion were waiting for. The additional security to feel comfortable breaching up to that high ground. Final items rolling in. The Shapeshift still on cooldown. Maybe that's the final cooldown. Nullifier, Bloodthorn, AC, Refresher. My goodness, this Lycan is farmed.
Hey, they're doing the right thing. They're getting everything. They're waiting for everything. There's nothing for them to rush. They can take everything on the map, they farm everything, get the Tormentor, wait for their last couple of items, and then push. There's no reason for them to take even a single % of risk in their position.
Yes, indeed. When the stakes are this high,
you don't have a choice, Rune Eaters.
You don't. You just have to stay in your base. But for GamerLegion, they want this shit on lock. They want to make sure they're going into the next game feeling comfortable, not worried about potentially staring down elimination, which would be such a horrific result for them. It's not one they're unfamiliar with, but I hate to repeat that feeling. Final moments here in the game. GamerLegion, here's the initiation. Big Num in, the Aeon Disc is going to proc. Not ideal, and they still can't find their target. Ike was able to create the distance, but Ghost already putting the fire out. Eki has been eliminated. Has buyback. Rune Eaters, we've seen them pull off some crazy defenses before, but this one feels unlikely. GamerLegion beating onto the towers. There's the buyback. Malik looking for the tendrils of the deep, but not going to be able to escape. Hextop in control, full force firing down onto the Doom, and he has no buyback. Doom is not going to be a factor in this final fight. And GamerLegion, again, it's the patience. They are slowly but surely mounting the attack. They're not in a rush. They know this is their moment. They get Dark Lord. Dark Lord has the buyback. Hookshot is there. RCY on the front line, strumming away. You like the sound of music? I'll play you all the way home. Buybacks coming out en masse. Rune Eaters understand this is their final chance, but the glitch will subside. Their heroes will die. And their hopes in this game number one completely extinguished. RCY with an ultra kill to close things out as GamerLegion get it done in game number one.
Yeah, GamerLegion just absolutely in control from start to finish. They did this. Coach is leashing me. He's telling me you need to follow the checklist. There's a checklist you need to complete.
Not gonna lie, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, and you know exactly why I say that. Because if you need to think about the checklist, you're already doing something wrong. It should be ingrained into your muscle memory. Winter, show some respect. These are pro players. They don't need to think about that stuff. They already have it in their bones.
The checklist is there as a guideline, and it's there to help the players to
Remember
sure. Things that are supposed to happen in the game, because their natural instinct, their natural playstyle doesn't really include that. Because in pubs, you do not think about your support, you do not think about your teammates, what are they doing. You just think about yourself, because nobody is going to help you in the game but yourself.
Sure, yeah. I'll crack into game number 2 here. Again, a must-win for Rune Eaters to really feel comfortable going into the final days of the group stage. While GamerLegion, it's a matter of pride, right? They're not just here to participate, they want to move forward to the next stage. And defeating a team like Rune Eaters, that should be a trivial matter for them. They've had much more LAN experience, but so far Rune Eaters have been even able to give trouble to some of the stronger teams, so not an easy opponent. Big Num will be forced back from the runes. It'll just be a 2 for 2.
They're waiting at mid, they're anticipating a smoke gang to get a first one. Everybody's waiting mid.
They're just trying to see, and they are actually spot on. Look at this. Rune Eaters, they're trying to gimp the Viper early. A ward in a very defensive position. Eki spotted, and suddenly it's a lot of wasted time from the supports. They're still maybe thinking of prying over with Ike, but with only the Impalement Arts, I don't think they have enough damage to scare RCY away. So Copy, he's going to need to find a solution because there's poison in his face and his vision is getting blurry, Winter. First blood already drawn, though. Speed to drop in the bot lane. How did that happen? I thought Rune Eaters were the ones late to the lane, but they tag team up and get it done.
Yeah, this is a very, very strong lane. Hoodwink and Snapfire. Gotta rest back in, you know. Wyvern, not the tankiest hero, and you're really strong at level 3. Level 2, okay, you get the heal, but level 3 is when you start to have a dent onto the enemy heroes with your Arctic Burn.
This is a little bit of a scary moment for RCY as Copy managed to hit level 2 before him. Things should be even out now. Yeah, but like you said, the Winter Wyvern has to be so careful because the nuke potential between the Snapfire and the Hoodwink is immense. They've got plenty of damage and they're happy to throw it your way.
Yeah, Wyvern's very good at bullying melee heroes in the lane, but he's up against double range, so he has to be very, very careful. And
now Ghost is gonna get bullied. Just right-click down.
Yeah, level 2. They got level 2 first.
Yeah, it's just the timing. Great recognition there, and we were so worried about Malik being able to connect in the mid-game that we didn't really consider the Snapfire's insane early laning and the power that he brings once he hits that level 6.
Yeah, the lane is just going to get harder for them right now. Level 3, Snap and Hoodwink just going to push you out of the lane. So GamerLegion needs to be very patient in his lane. You have to wait, play defensive, make sure that you can get the heal to just keep the cast up like 50. You need to always be like maybe 60-70% health. You cannot be like 50% or any lower because the combo from the Snap and the Hoodwink is just going to kill you.
Yeah. Very, very high level of caution needed for the GamerLegion safe lane. And I think the story of this early game, at least to me, Winter, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Malik and Eki will be fighting RCY in the mid lane for attention. Because RCY wants to bring the party to his lane, right? If you rotate over to the Viper's lane as the GamerLegion side, you're going to continue to force this Ember into a really bad spot. But on the flip side, if you can force RCY to come over to the bot lane, where Malik and Eki are wreaking havoc, then suddenly Copy gets a recovery back into this game.
It's going to be a game of patience, Mike. You have to wait for the right moments to make the right plays. Can't really force it now. You have to accept that the Ember's going to get a pretty bad start against the Viper.
14 denies.
Yep.
That's not a pretty bad start. That's abysmal. He has as many CS as minutes in the game, Winter.
And it's a matchup. It's a tough matchup.
I mean, don't you just... Surely you go level 2 Flame Guard and you just jungle. I mean, what is the point of this 1-1-1 build? Well... Yeah. Maybe he had a slight level early on or something to dodge. I'm not too sure, but that is going to... I mean, his game is slower than slow. And this is a concern because you already mentioned, Winter, they need to play through the Ember. They're not going to really have an Ember to play through. It's more like a lighter flame, not a fire.
Yeah, and Dark Lord's also low on health and on resources. If he gets ganked by the Wyvern sometime soon, he's going to get killed, then it's going to create a lot of problems on the map because the Ember cannot respond to the pressure on the side lanes because he's just having such a terrible game.
Yeah.
So your side lanes need to be able to stand on their own. Snap is, I think he's doing a really good job standing on his own. But the SF is a vulnerable target. He's a weak point. If the Wyvern can come over, if Speed sees an opportunity to gank him, this is going to cascade a lot more problems for Rune Eaters.
Yeah. With that being said, though, I'm not sure when Speed can precisely leave the bot lane, right? Yeah, Ghost is big time struggling as well.
Yeah,
I think the Wyvern leaves. It's going to be
okay. I mean, he's not exactly like not getting CS. He has 18 and 3.
Sure, yeah.
Snap is 23 and 6. I mean, you kind of expect the Snap to have a slight lead.
I didn't realize that this Axe and Koto was such a solid combination. The constant battle hunger spam, but they also have to respect Dark Lord's presence. Because he's got razors for days and the spell damage from Ike isn't anything to sneeze at either. Plenty of salves needed to stay sustained in this lane.
Here we go. Wyvern's already trying to head over. It's nighttime. Trying to use the cover of the night. But Eki is like trying to go mid. I feel like mid is not the lane you have to play through on Rune Eaters. You need to go to the side lanes.
Bingnam's being a little cheeky with it. Very fast on the Coddle though. I think they're finishing off Ike. Okay, nice little kite around. Playing around the perimeter. Very scary though, these razors. Fade and Bignam both on a sliver of HP. Infused raindrops are in order, that's for sure.
And they managed to find a D-Ward as well. That's a very, very huge deal for the SF.
Yeah.
He needed to have that vision to keep playing safe. And right now, he is going to be a lot more vulnerable with the ward being removed.
23 denies on the Viper. At this point, Copy has had just to farm up in the jungle quietly. A 6-minute rune's on the clock. The water rune not even touched down here. Copy will now go for it, get himself a freebie, and actually the shield rune. That's a pretty big deal. Speed and RCY going onto different targets though. I don't think Speed is a viable kill, and neither is Eki because he just scurries through the trees. You gotta imagine that if both of those heroes combine their abilities into one target...
Yeah, and they drag the wave, you know, the catapult's dead.
Yeah.
That is actually really, really huge for Rune Eaters, being able to drag the wave away.
No pressure. I mean, that was all because of a slight lapse in focus from GamerLegion, right? They were looking at two different targets. They get none, and their catapult wave gets dismissed. Oh, they found Fade. Uh-oh. A Fade in the corner. Fade's got no help. Dark Lord will be able to swipe him down. It's Ike with the last hit, and a nice little carnival souvenir for him to work with as well.
And that's a very, very nice kill on the sidelines. They need to keep doing this.
RCY. He's playing really aggressive and he finds himself at the tail end of a Copy sword. That is not what he wanted. Eki able to bait him in. And RCY, you're not supposed to be giving over the advantage like that.
And the supports are just not really combining well with the Viper here. They allow them to push away the catapult that easily. They drag the wave, the Hoodwing TP it mid, drag the wave, and the supports just were not there on time to stop that from happening.
Malik now being hunted down. GamerLegion noted the presence of the spots in the other areas, but they just can't quite slow Malik down enough. Trying to get him with the Kazurai Katana passive damage, but Malik just a bit too tanky on that Snapfire. One of the benefits of this hero, apart from doing a lot of damage as a spellcaster, also a pretty decent body.
Pretty tanky hero. I mean, GamerLegion, they need to, I think, reassess the situation. They had a very, very good start on the lanes, but now things are starting to break down, and it seems like they were not able to upset the balance of the laning phase. You know, Wyvern didn't really get a lot done in the laning phase. He didn't gag the SF. I mean, SF is not like super rich or anything, but he hasn't died.
Yeah.
And eventually he's going to scale up. And the Ember is in a pretty decent spot. I felt like I would not have expected Ember to have 2.6k net worth at 8 minutes after the start we've seen.
I mean, the fact that the Axe is lower net worth than him, that really tells you a story. A lot of it is because of that kill on the Viper. And now he has the level 6. So he can play the map a lot more freely. And I'd like to see more caution and intent from RCY, right? Because he's trying to very clearly make things happen on the map. But it's not really on him, right? I feel like his team, like you said, needs to try and play a bit better around him. For now, the focus of both Bignam as well as Speed has been a little bit scattered, to say the least. Kind of just on their own random missions on the map, whether it's stacking their own triangle, invading the enemy triangle on Speed, you know, he's just trying to get the vision. Doesn't run into Eki. That is fortunate timing. Just gonna stick around and block the camp, perhaps. Okay, yeah. No stack for you. A little bit cheeky there. It's kind of in decent position. I mean, not to do anything by himself, but maybe if he calls for some friends over to deal with copy. Not sure whether it's a possible kill though. Everyone just happy to farm for now. So the one downside that I'm seeing with this GamerLegion lineup, Winter, is they don't really hit towers very well until maybe the Viper shot. And that's later down the line.
I mean, not to mention they have no catch.
Yeah.
Axe is the only one, and Axe is like it's gonna take
a bad game. Yeah.
It's gonna take a while before he can have this dagger initiation role. You know, like this Wyvern, Koto, they are very, I would say, passive supports. They can fight, but they need someone else to start the fight, and you have a Viper on mid lane. You know, so this pick it doesn't really allow the supports to play the game they want to play. It's just about winning the lane and crushing the enemy mid lane, which I feel like he won his lane, but this is not a good enough margin.
Yeah. 500 gold differential. That doesn't quite cut it. For a last pick Viper like this, you're supposed to destroy them harder. Vision going to be noted with that.
Yep, no catch.
Yeah, that's it. They just use that solar bind and then the Hoodwing walks away. Very cool. Okay. Immediate smoke up. They want to use this spirit form while they have it popped already. Eki creeping around the tree line. Another solar bind. Where's the catch though? Here comes Ghost. Raven's Veil. Got the stun out with the Talon Toss and the Shoto Sai Mark. They should be able to finish off Eki. Malik thinking about offering up a cookie. Offering up a Lotus. Eki is fine. Walks this one off. Even has Ike in the backline to help him out.
They need to protect the catapult mic so they don't waste all this rotation from the Viper as well. They brought so many heroes, the catapult has to stay alive so they can pressure the tower. I mean, this is by far the best, I think one of the better starts I've seen from Rune. The Snapfire Kisses. Ghost is in trouble. Can he get out? He's gonna be alive, but Wyvern is going to die.
RCY is here to say something about it though, trying to get some lick back. Doesn't really have a way of locking down these heroes. Like you said, Winter, no catch at all on GamerLegion's side. And it's so easy for Rune Eaters to just walk away. So they use their spells, they get themselves a pick off, and then they force the Viper all the way over here just to find nothing. This does not feel good at all. I feel like both games we've seen the team with the Coddle not really be able to accelerate their own game. Maybe the cost of this support hero is just a bit too high.
It's not fair to say that, Mike.
Okay.
It's the pairings. You don't have the right pairings. Kotal, he likes to play with Storm, Ember, any spirit hero like Pango, something to spam your spells and get kills. Viper is not a hero that... I mean, sure, you can Chakra, then he can spam his poison, but it's not a hero that feels good, you know, like as a pairing.
Invis Rune denied, copied back out to safety.
And you pick it to win the lane, and I think this is just not sufficient.
Yeah.
And I think so. I've spoken about it a couple of times already. Yesterday, today, the laning phase seemed like it's not as important as before because the games are slower. So you want picks to have more priority on how well it allows your lineup to work. So the Viper doesn't really allow this lineup to accelerate. It doesn't work with the supports amazingly. It just wants to win the lane, and it doesn't really, you know, feel good in a game like this right now. And Rune Eaters, they are happy. Their Ember has fully recovered. Malik on the Snapfire, he has a great game. Shadowfiend hasn't really been punished. He's farming.
Yeah, the travels complete on Malik is a scary prospect, meaning that there's an option for Rune Eaters to look for plays on the other side of the map, and Mortimer's Kisses could just connect at any time. I will say though that GamerLegion are still playing a good economy game. Even though Rune Eaters are the team with an advantage kills-wise and seemingly map control-wise, Eki, you know, he's not quite really stacking the camps quite as much for his cause compared to Big Num, right? He has set up an entire triangle for Fate to really come back to, and the recovery is visible. You can see this axe going from the bottom net worth core to kind of near the top now. It's a very big deal, especially since he's going to be their only catch. So the second this Blink Dagger comes online, GamerLegion, they're going to want to try and find some fights.
But Rune Eaters, they are ready to fight now. They can take the fight towards GamerLegion. They have the vessel done on Ember Spirit, and this is the time for them to strike.
13 minutes in, close to the Wisdom Shrine timing. Let's see whether any team chooses to attack or defend. Rune Eaters on the prowl here, expecting Ghost to be farming in this area.
Yeah, once again going towards Malik's lane.
Scan comes through. Here is the full wraparound. Dark Lord will be noted first by the Wyvern. They catch a glimpse of the Kaz, immediate Raven's Veil. He knows he's being hunted, and they don't really have the vision to lock him down. The Kaz is all the way back out to safety. Big Num's TP'd in. The GamerLegion, surely they understand they can't defend this location. They'll just have to give it up and be happy that all they lost was a pause 5.
They're gonna lose the tower. Dark Lord's happy that he made the rotation over. The last game, it took him so long to kill this tower with his gate ganks, and this time it's going to take a much faster timing. And once they get control of this area, Roche is going to move towards bottom. So the Roshan is going to be the next important objective. You open a tier 1 bot, you wait for it to come over, and you have SF plus Snapfire. You know, you're going to be able to kill it. Wow, that's it. What? They were able to find a kill here with a setup from Ike on the Ringmaster, using the wheel, stopping the Axe to run away, and you have the Snapfire Mortimer's Kiss to throw on top of that. Yeah. And this is a huge kill. We've been saying he is the only catch. He needs to get his dagger, and if he's dead, this is going to further delay the playmaking options that GL is going to have in this game.
Absolutely. And the upside is every single time something bad happens, at least Big Num gets another stack. Big Num has been stacking that triangle, milking that cow until, I don't know, it's dried up at this point. I mean, with the rate that he's doing it, they're all going to be lactose intolerant. We're still happy to collect the earnings there. This seems to be the recovery option for them that's been working out well. What about Rune Eaters? Do you think they need to be forcing the issue? Should they be trying to find these opportunities? Because obviously for GamerLegion, we talked about the Axe needing the blink. They'll have that in 300 gold, and then we'll see them move. But Rune Eaters, are they under any pressure to be maybe making these plays on the map or finding any specific hero?
Not really. I think they're having a nice amount of camps to farm, and their next objective is the Roche. I think the Roche is the bigger objective. If they can kill the Roche before the Roche goes top with the SF, that would give them a very sizable advantage on the game, because it's going to secure the Tormentor as well if you can kill the Roche right now.
It kind of feels like a mirrored situation from game number 1 where Rune Eaters, they were attacking this very same tower that GamerLegion defended perfectly. And now GamerLegion, they just haven't been able to break this one open and apply more pressure on the map. They're going to try now with RCY, his completed Dragonlance. Slowly but surely. This time round, no Treant Protector, so all they can do is try and spam out the waves, delay as long as possible. Or maybe try and mount some sort of a defense. Look at this wraparound. Copy, he's leading the charge. RCY is the only one they spotted, but the immediate blink, he dodges it! Oh, that is such an unlucky timing, Copy!
Good curse.
He has to thank his lucky stars. It's a good curse onto the Hoodwink. That will be one support eliminated. Ike's gonna try and save himself with the box. A failed Wheel of Wonder doesn't really connect. Ghost still gets popped by the damage. The parry's there, the cookie's in, and Ghost is down. Both major calls from GamerLegion getting caught out, and the failed call first from Fate ends up costing them big time. GamerLegion fumbling here on the Axe blink reveal, and Dark Lord will collect. You just gotta be careful about that blade mail, but Dark Lord finishes the job, survives on the sliver, and Speed can do nothing about it. Copy will jump on forward, knows that the Flame Guard has him safe. And Speed, an easy pickup in the tree line. All of it came down to that clutch play from Copy. How did he dodge that call?
Yeah, that was a very huge and influential move there from Rune Eaters, and being able to keep the Ember Spirit alive. If Ember dies there, he would have for sure died there.
Yeah, if the call connects, Copy is just wiped off our screen. But the fact that he survives that entire engagement puts out so much damage. It's a shame we can't get it on the replay, but by the point this happens, the fight's already over. And great confidence there from Copy. He just charges on forward, knows that the supports can do nothing to touch him.
They get a pretty good curse off, you know, but it was just like not enough. They didn't have enough in the tank. The Viper wasn't able to do the deeps. They get a kill on the support. They get 2 kills on both supports, on the Hoodwing and the Ringmaster, but that just wasn't enough, you know, because they paid a huge price. All their cores died, and this is like the problem, right? You have this Cotter, Viper, Wyvern. You're so reliant on the Axe. The Axe misses the call, and the game is just hard because you have only one stun.
That's the thing, right? It's so hard to blame the Axe. He didn't really do anything wrong there. You can't blame him for the Ember slighting right at the moment as he jumps in. That's just unlucky. But it's moments like these that dictate the overall tempo of the game. And now we can firmly say GamerLegion, they're on the back foot. They're going to need to try and find some opportunity to pull themselves back in.
They're going to smoke and use the hit. I feel like they're still really strong. If they get the right connections with their spells, the Axe wants to kill off the SF, but they also at the same time need to worry about the box. The box is going to stop the Axe initiation, so they need to see where is this Ringmaster position. He's looking for the ring, but he's out of there. But his newly plays bicycle.
Smelled that one coming through some sort of vision.
Yeah, but
because
this is weird. I mean, this move. Now they're giving up the tormentor because they are supposed to be prepared on the bot side. They place a lane ward. If you can look at the minimap, there's a lane ward on the bottom. Tom is spawning. They need to be in position to use this lane ward to pick heroes off and maybe fight for the Tom. They have to get ready right now. They are not weak. GamerLegion, they have to fight.
in the mid lane tower being pushed in on the creep wave was a dead giveaway that the move was happening. Rune Eaters now just poking and prodding. They're doing an excellent job this game, not fully committing to these fights, right? They're just trying to bait some sort of a reaction. For GamerLegion, it's important for them that the fights don't go long. They need to jump in with a call, get a hero kill. A curse needs to have impact. But if the fights drag on longer, that's where Copy, Malik, these low cooldown spells, high damage as well, can start to rip the GamerLegion heroes apart. That's what we've been seeing so far. Sanj and Kaya complete for the Shadow Fiend. His Requiem's gonna sting.
And maybe GamerLegion, they're setting up for Roche. They are not going bot, so they're waiting Roche to cross the map. Can they do Roche with the heroes?
The Kez has got decent amount of damage. He poison attack it, stack up the magic resist reduction.
Is it going to be fast enough though?
I wonder.
The question.
Indeed, indeed. Because Malik still got that boots of travel, so after he's done with the Tom, he can just fly on over to mid, throw a couple of kisses in the pit. Things could get hairy real quick. No amount of cold embracing can save you from the fiery hot globs of lava. The Speed's on a bit of a mission. What's he up to? Maybe trying to steal the Wisdom Shrine? God, okay. Invis Rune. Big sneak around. Tormentor will be taken. You have to expect that Rune Eaters will be coming back to this location, and Speed probably going to think twice about that. Maybe try for a scan or something. And Dark Lord's already there. Not going to happen.
Alright, this is just not looking good at all for GL. They're losing the objectives. The Roche is going to be something that they cannot afford to give up. They have very good heroes at fighting at the Roche peak. The Curse, the Axe,
the Call, the Kotal.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they secure this area. I feel like they're just very afraid though. They're not that weak. I think they can win the fights. I guess they just play defensive after one bad call, and they stop trying to attack, you know, and they just prefer sitting back and defending. I think this is like the downside of like GamerLegion. They're more prone to defending their areas. They're good at defending, but sometimes they shouldn't be defending because they're not that weak.
I can see that. Rune Eater's probably a conversation between the first game and now as well. Oh, Ravensvale immediately popped. Not sure whether that was a misclick of some sort, the switch discipline immediately after, or what's the deal? Okay, ward will be noted.
I mean, Speed has been sitting here for the last minute.
Yeah, what is he doing?
They are not sure what to do.
Do I need to go over to the stage and check on him? What's happening?
Yep, go ahead, Mike. I can hold the fort down here.
Yeah, Speed, you good over there, brother? What are we doing?
It's waiting for a career.
I mean, he doesn't look very happy.
Nope, he does not.
He's also not saying anything.
And there's nothing much to do, you know?
He will TP away.
They can only play through the axe, and Wyvern doesn't really like to.
Yeah, no, I know what that was. Winter, you know what a sabbatical is?
Yep.
You know when you're too stressed at work, when things get too hectic, you need to just take time away. I think that's what that was, Pete. No, he's not having the best of times on this Wyvern. This is not what he wanted at all. He's just having a little fresh air. I understand it. I've been there.
Yeah, at the same time, Rune Eaters, I think they didn't see the Viper there. Copy went up the ramp and then he didn't see anyone. He went down. But the Viper was actually farming there. So they decided to go for the tower instead. After the tier 1 tower mid, that should give them the option to secure the Roche. But the Roche is a very, very tricky objective here against the GamerLegion heroes. The GamerLegion heroes they definitely have what it takes to swing a fight right there.
Yeah, and I think fighting around the pit allows GamerLegion to keep their formation very easily. Unless you're the one sort of jumping in first. I imagine that if Rune Eaters actually want to try for the Roche, they'd have to first jump in maybe with Copy and open up a kill or a pick-off.
They need to open the tier 1 tower top first. Get control of the Ancients area. They're pushing the wave. SF is... okay, I thought SF was coming over. He just went back.
I mean, to be honest with you, Winter, I feel like at this point they're probably setting up for the Dire Roche instead, like in bot side. Because they're running out of time, right? You got less than a minute before this happens.
It's strange. They could have done it quite some time ago.
Yeah, but maybe they're scared of the GamerLegion setup, like you said. It's not easy. We know that for sure.
There's nothing much going on.
Yeah.
Rune Eaters are using the gate to come around, so I guess you're right. They're maybe really intending to wait for the Roche to move to the bottom side. They're bringing in heroes. They're trying to play some gate walls, control the gates, try to look for a pick-off here. They're gonna find Kes. This is a big kill.
And there is your Roche attempt in just about 30 seconds. Or maybe you can make a beeline to the pit right now. I mean, by the time the Roche actually gets over to the bot side, the Kes will be respawned, so I kind of feel like if you're Rune Eaters, you want to find a little bit more. Mass TP is coming in from GamerLegion, looking to set a trap and defend this area. Copies being pinged. Call's going to come through. Where's the follow-up? You need some sort of disable, because if not,
look at how the heroes
going to Remnant away. Where is the follow-up from GamerLegion?
They have the heroes. The heroes just can't follow up each other because they don't have the right spells with the right heroes.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I mean, at some point, I thought Speed was even going to throw out Winter's Curse just for fun.
Yeah, but the axe killed all the creeps with the spin, so he can't curse him. Yeah, like, he could, but there's not going to be much damage.
I mean, it also lasts like 0.5 seconds.
1.5. I think minimum is 1.5.
Minimum is 1.5.
That's a minimum.
I've seen some
duration.
short curses.
Oh, 2. Minimum duration is 2.
I'm just completely wrong then. Sorry everyone for the misinformation.
As usual, Mike,
calm down.
Lie to everyone.
Sorry. I've learned it from you.
I've always been truly honest with you.
Now tell me your honest perspective of this game. Do you think GamerLegion got a good chance back into this, or?
Yeah, and there's still a chance. Their lineup is very good at defending high ground, like with the Kotal, with the Wyvern. It's the problem about progressing the map. They can't really move out on the map because their heroes are not exactly great at working with each other.
Yeah, hold that thought. Rune Eaters are instead trying to progress their map. Speed will be found. Instant blink. That's nice. Blink forward to chase from Eki just to get the vision. Holy! that was an execution. Malik jumping on forward.
That should be Roche. This should be Roche for them.
Yeah, just get in there. Nothing to be scared about. Man, I don't think GamerLegion were sort of keen on contesting anyway, the way they're split up on the map. This will in fact be Roche probably for Dark Lord and perhaps some tier 2 towers to fall in the subsequent 5 minutes that they claim this.
It could be dangerous, though. It's not really fast enough. Roche has grown stronger.
Yes, he has, and the heroes are not really helping Dark Lord. He's soloing it at the moment. Here comes GamerLegion closing in. Smoke's broken out onto Copy. He's the perfect man to take the damage, but RCY waltzing into the pit.
Oh, he got it!
And gets the Aegis! Are you serious? GamerLegion, a prize delivered right on their doorstep.
Oh,
RCY will say thank you very much, Rune Eaters. You got him in 2 legs with it. Now you're going to need to try and turn things around. At least you get the kill onto the axe. But that is not what you wanted at all. Fate. He is going to drop, and with him along the Wyvern.
That was a huge blunder by Dark Lord there. He needed to Requiem. He had the vision. He saw them come. He knew they were coming over. He needed to Requiem earlier to use the Requiem damage to somehow give him a little bit of cover and also to finish the Roche quickly.
I mean, there was also the
Did
bash
he
on
get
the road.
bashed?
He got bashed. He got bashed in the moment where he could have Requiemed. At the last moment, he got bashed. We'll see it again on this replay.
No, he needed to use it here.
Watch this. He got bashed right there. A second stun. He had no chance. By the time the Requiem came out, the Aegis was already out of his hands. That is just unlucky. Another situation that characterizes this game, the 2 pivotal moments. At the first fight for GamerLegion, the Axe missing the call on the Ember off a very lucky slide. But Rune Eaters, they get their karma back to them. GamerLegion with a gift directly at their doorstep. Rune Eaters will still find some pickoffs, though. Copies keeping the action going, but that was rough, Winter.
Yeah, that was really rough. I mean, that's the consequences of not getting the Roshan earlier. Now the Roche got stronger, so it's not as easy for you to get it. And I also felt like they needed maybe someone to help the SF tank some damage in the Roche. Maybe Snap. Somebody has to do it,
Yeah,
you know.
they left him alone in there.
Yeah, he was alone.
He was like, what? At the end of it, he was close to like 800 HP or something.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of difficult call at that point because they knew that enemies were approaching. Snap wants to be far away from the initial team fight. He doesn't want to be first contact.
Yeah.
So you can say the same for the Hoodwing and the Ringmaster, but somebody has to go and break the smoke. And I felt like everybody just stood behind And that was bad because Ember could cover only one entrance. He covered the
Exactly.
stairs and someone else had to cover the river.
I mean, at that point, even if you were going to die on the hoodwink, it didn't matter, right? You had to just be a body and delay their entry.
Yes. I think Hoodwing is probably the one to do it because
Yeah.
the Ringmaster could box you, could save you,
Exactly.
maybe, you know.
Bit of a setup now onto Ghost. He's not the one with the Aegis, so he will fall along with speed. A return call, Fate's going to try and fight. Easy box save though, that's the counter pick with the Ringmaster, and even though GamerLegions are the ones with the Aegis, they're the ones in trouble. Dark Lord with a Requiem scaring them off, and the kiss is more of a goodbye kiss, I want to say, because nothing much else to be said in this fight. Rune Eaters, they're still doing a good job despite that little fumble around the pit of keeping control of the map.
Yeah, I agree. They still have the momentum going on for them because their heroes are just gonna provide them with a lot more options here. GamerLegion, they need to be very defensive with their heroes. They need to use Viper as a body. You have Aegis on Viper, and no one else can get jumped right now. Nobody. Only the Viper should be the first contact. And this is not looking good, you know, right now.
It
Like
really
they have not gained any like good initiations from the Axe. I felt like Fate is just not finding any openings. He had I guess a mediocre start, but he had the stacks to go back on. But
Yeah.
after that, he just couldn't really get any important calls off. Like there's nothing, you know. I felt like they just got nothing done with the Axe because probably the supports are just not good with the Axe, you know, with the Cortal and the Wyvern. They're just not good heroes. The Cortal is maybe whatever because they picked the Cortal early for the draft, but the Wyvern pick just didn't really feel like it works with their heroes.
I mean, they picked the Axe even earlier, right? If you're going to 9-pick an Axe, you need to make sure he has...
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was the Axe immediately off the rip to counter the SF. And then you don't complement the Axe, so now you're left with an Axe that feels less like a counter.
But it's also like a combination of two things. The heroes that are not good with him and also his own play, right? I think the Axe not getting any good jumps. You can't really blame the supports for that during the team fight.
Sure.
You only have yourself to blame.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though that I don't think this is by any stretch of the imagination an easy game for Fate. He had a tough early laning start like you already mentioned, and even though he did find some stacks to get back to.
But at the same time, I think this type of hero is just not really in his wheelhouse. He's not really good at the dagger heroes.
Yeah,
like
you've said this before.
From the games that I've noticed, like I've watched the last 2-3 months, I think even from before last year, I think he's just not really good with the dagger hero. He's good with he's just like another
the auras or the zoo.
the carry. He's just another carry on the offlane. Yeah, the zoo heroes, the aura heroes, like Largo, like
the map heroes as well.
Yeah, the map heroes, but not the dagger heroes.
And usually you have RCY on a bit more of a spirit hero to set things up for the team.
Oh,
He can
SF.
be used. In comes
Trouble.
the jump. Malik! What a nice counter initiation. Fade
Malik
off the
saves
mark with
the
the call
day.
again, and RCY. He'll drop to the deck. Malik indeed saving the day there. We were so worried about Malik not being able to play the connecting hero, but this Snapfire has looked solid. I think in the draft, maybe we were looking a bit too much at the overall game. But this Snapfire has done a great job making the early laning stage for GamerLegion difficult, and now has scaled up immensely. Top of the net worth on Malik. How has he found that?
Boots of Travel, he had a good lane, he has a couple of kills to his name. I think everything has been going wonderful this game. Like, as long as Malik, he kills the enemy tier 1 tower, the safe lane tier 1 tower, I think the games that he felt like he was monstrous are always the games that he got unlocked. And this game he got unlocked.
Yeah.
Dark Lord came over, rotated through the gate, I think around minute 13, 14. They got the tower. Not the earliest, but they unlocked him. He got the tower and he was able to play his game. They rotated and played the map very, very well after that. And
Poppy
Fate
on the front lines. Fate, he is not looking very healthy.
has a good curse.
Good curse, still surviving is Copy. Able to get the slide, able to get out, and Winter Wyvern will drop. So the balls of frost coming out from the Snapfire. It was a good curse indeed, but GamerLegion perhaps starting to reach the point where good play alone isn't going to tide you through, because you need to start seeing some mistakes from Rune Eaters. They're just a bit too far ahead with this 13k gold lead.
Yeah, their heroes just don't really work well together. Like the Corta, Wyvern, Axe, this trio is just not really that good. They needed an Ember Spirit or Storm mid to round their draft up, you know, as a rotating hero. Viper just doesn't really cut it, you know. I felt like he won his lane, but then he made a misplay. But that one misplay that allowed the Ember to kill him just completely lost them like the early stages. And after that, the Axe couldn't really stand up to the plate to find some calls to help them win some fights. And they just couldn't really do anything anymore because their heroes are just super passive. They're only good at defending. They're not really good at creating opportunities, and they don't work well together because they don't have synergy together. You remember the earlier call? There was one call, the Axe called the Ember. He had the two supports behind him, but they have no way of killing off an Ember.
Yeah, Copy was just laughing at them, I'm pretty sure.
Like, what are they doing?
Indeed. It's tough. Where game 1 felt like a very strong outdraft from GamerLegion, in my opinion. Game 2, GamerLegion just perhaps making a few too many play mistakes. And the draft as well not really hitting the same level of synergy, I think is our main concern. Why is he just staying there? Don't want to get down? Okay, looking for a place to TP. I respect it. But yeah, Malik is so high level on this Snapfire, level 23, close to the level 25. As if the game needed to get harder for GamerLegion. The prowl now are Rune Eaters. Can smell blood in the water, and again, this is very much them, right? I think they can always take one game off of any team. They get the right conditions, get some of their good heroes. As long as Malik is unlocked, they can go very far. They managed to do that this game when it matters the most. I'm telling you, if GamerLegion 2-0'd them, the rest of the group would be very scary because they just need to sit back, twiddle their thumbs and hope for the best. And they, of course, have to defeat poor Rangers as well. But then down the line, their fate is less so in their hands. But now, evening out the series, there's still a good chance. They were able to draw with the stronger teams, like I keep mentioning, and GamerLegion, you know, that's where they might falter. Because some of these other teams, they have a lot more experience playing against GamerLegion and beating GamerLegion than Rune Eaters. Looking for the jugular here.
This is the last defense from GamerLegion. They have to find the right opening on the Axe. The Axe needs to jump and the Wyvern needs to wait for the SF to BKB and try to stop the SF from right-clicking the fights.
Who's the Axe jumping though? Who's the ideal target?
I think the ring. The ring is the safe. He needs to find the ring.
Okay.
But he's probably not going to find the ring.
I mean, the ring is positioned in the most safe location. A big wraparound. Copy's gonna spot them out again. What a safe pair of hands. We'll get hexed up, but there's the save again. This team fight did not start the way GamerLegion needed to. Copy still dropping low, has to watch himself. Ghost is on top of Darklord though. Darklord's gonna take the damage, still trying to stand his ground. He likes you up. Forced up away, save him, somebody! Darklord will go down, but it comes at the cost of the Kes. Now RCY, he's dropped far too low, and he will die as well, while Copy escapes out to the side. What a performance from this Ember Spirit. He is everywhere his team needs him to be.
He tanked everything on that team fight. Sure, you may have killed Darklord, but Malik on the snap fight, he's also the secondary carry. He dished out so much damage, and the team did not even use the ultimate.
No.
Just cast his spells, right-clicking. And this was a very, very nice box. Copy knows that he can't die. He gets boxed. He pops his BKB Darklord. He gets focused probably a little bit too antsy because the box got used, so he has no box to save him and he dies. But GamerLegion have already expanded most of their weapons to kill off the initial heroes, so they have nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, and look at the replay. On the sidelines, the Axe is just hiding away into the corner. Finally strikes and gets a kill onto Ike, but he spent a good 20-30 seconds just waiting for an opportunity that never came. And this goes back to what you were saying, where Fade, sure, he had a mediocre start. Sure, he had stacks to go back to. That was supposed to prop him up back to relevance, but he hasn't really found those good opportunities for himself. Whether that's his fault or the team not setting up for him, that's another story. But what matters is that this Axe, he's not quite delivering.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the setup doesn't allow them to win. Like the Axe hero, this is a good hero, but it's just not suitable for Fate. I think he may have won some games with the hero in the past, but his style is not, it's not suitable to play Axe. Any dagger initiating hero is not good. Like Enigma is different. You buy dagger and Enigma, but you're not the primary initiator.
At most, you blink in Malefice and then you walk out. Yeah. Right? You're not really full committed.
You're waiting for the right moment to jump and get your spell off. So it's different. I think Enigma is also one of his better heroes.
I will say, overall though, apart from it being like somewhat the responsibility of the Axe. You keep addressing the fact that they pick. It's like you have an Axe on your team. You imagine you 9-pick the Axe phase. It's like, okay, I'm going to crush this SF. And then your support duo is Wyvern, Kotl. You were calling for stuff like a Skyref, a Hoodwink, and you got none of that. You got like a Kotl that has to wait a bajillion years for a blast, and then a Wyvern that was supposed to come through the twin gates that never came.
It was still fine, I think, the support duo, until the end. They could have just picked a Storm or some, you know, Spirit Hero.
As a secondary initiation,
I think that was Pango, maybe not Void Spirit, but they had some other decent options that could allow the whole draft to come together. But they decided to use the Viper to completely destroy the Ember's lane, which happened. But one mistake from RCY threw all the advantage back, and their heroes just couldn't really do much together anymore after that. I think the laning phase is very clear to me. It is not as important as before.
Yeah. I mean, if Rune Eaters win this game, we'll have the chance to ask them all about it, how they felt about this Viper counterpick, whether it was really relevant. And they are getting pretty close to that point. You talk about the Ember being countered in the lane. Which Ember are we talking about? The guy who's 7-0 and 10? The guy who's putting down the masterclass? And this is one of his best heroes, and it's lovely to see that he's able to show his stuff here on the big stage like this. That's the feeling that you get watching Rune Eaters this whole time. You know that they have that dog in them. Sometimes they just trip up on their own feet, but in the moments where they shine, damn, they look good. I mean, it's Copy, it's Malik, still at times waiting for the rest of the team to step up, but each one of them has had their moments this game. Maybe except for Dark Lord, but Dark Lord, he now has the responsibility of closing this one out. He'll be the main objective getter, and the team's playing all around him. Despite how one-sided this has been, at least for the past 20 minutes, the game's still not feeling entirely comfortable for Rune Eaters to just waltz out onto that high ground. This is just the state of Dota that we have right now in the meta.
I mean, they're 3 minutes on the Aegis. They're not really in a rush, you know. But it's the catapult wave. I think if you wait, and if you don't push during the catapult wave, then when are you gonna push, you know? This is the best time to go. You put your banner down with the catapults and you push.
I mean, the high ground's pretty scary.
They're not ready, you know?
Yeah, do you reckon they're waiting for some sort of an item?
No, they're not waiting for anything.
There's level 25 on the SF that's just around the corner.
No, bro, brother.
Level 20 on the Ringmaster, Copium?
No, you just push with the catapults.
Just push.
Just push.
Level
Go
25
top.
on the Ember, you don't care about that?
Nope.
Okay. If you say so.
I care about the catapults.
You're the boss. Well, I see 2 catapults on my screen right now, and Dark Lord's gonna run with them. You still have a glyph available on GamerLegion to use. So you can repel this push or at least suspend it for another 1 minute, 30 seconds. Level 25 is gonna be giga important. I mean, both Ember and SF close to cracking that.
And what?
Meanwhile,
Why is
Tormentor here from GamerLegion.
Why is GL allowed to get road? I mean, Tom. This is unacceptable.
Vibes?
No. They have the... Yep. Okay, finally it happens. But
the
banner's a little bit too close for my liking.
Yeah.
Because they can hit it.
Careful, Dark Lord. A call might be coming your way that you don't want to pick up. Malik is not actually in position.
Yeah, this is why the banner needs to be behind.
Yeah.
Like, you're killing the banner with the illusions. This is not... It shouldn't be allowed.
What? Oh, okay. Oh, that was weird. Well, they get the banner, but the tower is, as we say, is gonna fall. It's not actually gonna fall. It's gonna survive because of the glyph, and just like that, looks like Rune Eaters, they can't push no longer. That was weird.
And this is why they needed to push just now when the catapult... You have 2 chances because the catapults in the mid wave will arrive first. You get a push, and then you have a secondary option after they defended the catapults. But then again, I think the issue was the banner placement. The banner needed to be placed further back because it's like there's no way.
Because then they can just waltz up and kill it.
There's no way you just let them kill the banner just like that.
I mean, so far, past 1 minute, feel like GamerLegion have gotten away with a little bit of robbery, right? They get the Tormentor, they get the free banner, but now they might be losing the Viper. A price to pay for everything is RCY eliminated. There's a curse, but Copy's quite a bit too tanky, and the Mortimer's Kiss is raining in. That's level 25. They can't play. They just don't see the X this game. And this one might be over soon. You buy back. Last stand here for GamerLegion. Rune Eaters gotta imagine that they won't be letting this one up. An advantage For them here, that was hard earned. The Hex out, immediate buybacks. They need to try and save their cares. He's feared up right now, still able to survive and parry. Turn around for the Hex onto the Hoodwing box is there for the save. Rune does able to kite, but Malik's in. Double cookie out. He needs to escape. Still jumps back in. Triple cookie, quadruple cookie, keeping the controls up. Who wants a snack? Ghost hiding in the cover of his Raven's Veil. Copy still on the front line and tries to cut him down, but no kills just yet. Meanwhile, Malik's gone down on the back. Fade has found his mark.
The Aegis expired.
The Aegis did expire. They still have a box to work with. They didn't get the Rex, and now Dark Lord in some trouble. GamerLegion, this could be the opportunity, but the instant Hex now onto Kaz. Needs a Raptor dance. There's Embrace. Very much needed speed. Hugs him with ice and goes back up to fighting speed. That is everything that GamerLegion needed. And they will repel this push.
They did not kill the Kaz. The Snapfire thought the Kaz was dead. He didn't use his kisses on the Kaz. Oh boy, that was such a costly mistake. The last 2 to 3 minutes have been just mistakes after mistake. They were getting antsy because they know that GamerLegion should not be allowed to get away with so much. They got the Tom, they defended the high ground, they lost the banner, they forced the high ground with the Aegis. They couldn't get the kill, they lost the Aegis, they lost the SF. This were quadruple cookies. And he didn't finish off. You see the co-embrace, he didn't finish off Ghost here with the kisses.
He could have just kissed right in front of him, but he went for the long range instead. And he just ends up dying to the AoE damage. I believe he actually died to the Blade Mail of Fate. Fate popped the Blade Mail, stood on a kiss, and Malik's last bit of HP went down. You gotta imagine a bit more patience or any semblance of just... I wanna say discipline? Like not needing to fully commit, because I feel like the second you see those BKBs, why are you quadruple cooking in? Like just back up, chill, wait out the BKBs, and then you can Multimus kisses them to death.
The thing is, they could have killed the Kaz and it would have been an entirely different story.
Yeah,
so that's also another point of contention.
Ooh.
I mean, they just don't really know how to push the high ground. The high ground is, in fact, something that you need to talk over. Like, it's not easy to push the high ground. You have to talk about when we are going to the high ground, how are we going to use the banner, how are we going to siege, well, which hero is supposed to do what, are we supposed to all stand behind the SF and just let the SF hit? There are always going to be conversations like this, and most of the time, if you're jumping into the enemy base to initiate, like you said, you know, it's going to put you in a position where you're exposed, and the enemies are going to use buybacks to defend the base. So oftentimes the safer choice is to just sit behind the turret and let the turret hit the base, which is the SF.
Yeah. Just leave him be. It's not like you don't have save, right? You literally have 2 Ringmaster boxes, no nullifiers on the side of GamerLegion just yet. He would have been fine. But instead, you try for this crazy commitment. Malik, a hero like the Snapfire, yes, it can go in and set up crazy plays, but not into BKBs. That's the hero's arch nemesis. Rune Eaters, they're not out of this one just yet. That was a costly mistake indeed. It extends GamerLegion's lifeline in this game by maybe 5 minutes or so. Or maybe it could end all in an instant if they're not ready for this smoke move.
And it's also the morale. Like, your morale is going to take a huge hit. You're so far ahead, and how did you lose the fight just like that?
Yeah, the past 3 minutes, right? Giving over things they're not supposed to. Maybe the stress kind of starting to set in a bit. GamerLegion, this is a game that they have no business winning at this point if Rune Eaters play it right. But Rune Eaters, they fumbled quite a bit.
Just one wrong placement from the banner. The banner placed behind would have just
catapulted everything.
It would have just eased so much of the pressure, because you just wait for the creeps, the catapults to kill the Rex.
I mean, on the other hand, I think it might have been the starting domino might have been the Tormentor, right? Because they see you at the Tormentor and then they're in such a hurry to place the banner that they just put it a bit further.
But that was also way back. Like the first catapult wave in the mid lane, they should be pushing.
That too.
And then that would have made it hard for GamerLegion to hit the Tormentor.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of small little things cascading and just stacking on top of each other. And it made the players kind of felt like, oh my god, why is this happening? Why are they getting away with this? And then you kind of want to force things.
Yeah,
and then
you quickly put a banner down, you realize it's in the wrong place, Dark Lord still sticks around, you take a fight that doesn't work, suddenly you're losing heroes, you're quadruple cooking in, you're smoking as a response immediately after coming back up, find nothing. And now GamerLegion, they have their place back out on the map. It's not a clean game for them, nullifier complete for Ghost, so now the box is going to be not a reliable save if Ghost can get his hands on them. And this matchup is actually pretty nice for the Kaz, right? Ghost, as long as he's able to collapse upon the Shadow Fiend, he will be able to bring Dark Lord down. Especially now with the nullifier. Maybe you're relying on the cookie, but even that is kind of rough into the Falcon Rush. Closing the gap is Kez's specialty. And SF, he hates it when you're all up in his face. Both teams moving out on opposing sides of the map here. Roche, 1 more minute until that's up. Of course, only we know that. Copy again, being the front line, fearless as usual, charging ahead with his Ember Spirit, trying to light the way for the rest of his team to end the game. GamerLegion, the cautions there. Got a note, a Hex, and an Aghanim's on Big Num. Those are 2 very big tools for control in the team fight that Rune Eaters might not be prepared for.
And 7-0 and 13. He's definitely trying to make a statement with his Ember Spirit.
He is popping off.
He has to win the game.
Job's not done, right?
But he's not the person that has to end the game. It's the SF. The SF is the one that needs to end the game.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying with this team, right? We've seen each of their individual members pop off, but I've yet to see Dark Lord bring one home. I've yet to see him step up to the plate and hit the home run when the team has set him up for that success. And this is his chance to really prove himself in a game that matters so much for this team and the overall standings and their potential progression in this tournament. I mean, hey, not getting eliminated in the group stage, that's one step. You still got survival to talk about, but you need to focus on what's ahead of you, and that's this Roche. Secure that objective. GamerLegion in no position to really contest.
Round 2. The good news is they have another opportunity to try again. Another banner, another Aegis.
Yes, sir. Prophet's Pendulum now. Perhaps the best item in this tier. I mean, without it, you're just getting instantly decimated by so much of the damage. A refresher shot given over to Copy because the Snapfire already has the refresher orb of her own.
Time to push. Catapult waves coming.
Come on. Let's get moving, folks. Stop hitting those creeps. It's time to end the game.
Wait, where are we going?
Where are we going indeed? Any idea, Winter? Just clear out the creep waves, perhaps. Looks like they want to escort this wave of the catapults up in top side.
Yeah, but can't they just go through mid?
There's a Kez and a Coddle sticking around the top side. The Coddle's now escaped. And yeah, evacuation. So it's just clearing out this lane. Maybe they're worried about the geography of the mid lane. They don't know where the Axe Call can come from. This approach in the top side will be a lot more linear, allowing Copy to just take the frontal position and maybe Malik a bit less cookies on the aggression this time and save some of that for the post BKBs. On paper, you look at the stats, you look at the gold lead, you get the feeling that this is not a game that Rune Eaters can lose. This one is in their hands. They just need to play the remaining cards correctly. But they've been also prone to some strange bouts of decision-making that have left us scratching our heads. But now's not the time to pull a magic trick. Now's not the time to get funky. Do what you need to do. Close this one out. Keep the survival of your team in this group within your control. At least for the most part, rather than the less part. Still not in a rush. They just...
Where's the banner?
They just gotta put a banner down onto some catapults, baby. There's the banner. Further away this time. Eki tried to blink forward for the catch. They forced off Dark Lord forward. That was cheeky. Able to immediately blink away. That's a good play. Viper strike now onto the SF.
Feels like they can still hit it. It's the same thing.
Well, they got Bushwhack to cover now.
It's
clear out Viper. Yeah, it is very near indeed.
Because you don't really need to use it in range of the creeps. Just the catapults. Only the catapults.
4-star forward. Viper strike in. Try for the call, but there's a save. Mortimer's Kiss is now making it hard to fight. GamerLegion need to back up for now. Ignis Fatus right in front, trying to kite. Ghost is on top of Dark Lord, but he has that second life, so Ghost won't commit for more. And would you look at that? The banner's gone. Catapults are being wiped out as well. GamerLegion holding off this push again. And even though Dark Lord has that Aegis, he got a bit scared for a moment, backed out, and Rune Eaters. Now, what's the sitch? Are we waiting for banner number 3?
They are not defending the banner, Mike. When the opponents go for the banner, you have to stand and fight. You cannot He had A gates, but he's running away on the SF.
I mean, they tried to put some Mortimer's Kisses down, but clearly not everyone was on the same page, right? Malik was pressing his ultimate, and then everybody else was trying to retreat.
Ringmaster used his ultimate, but they are not committing for the tower.
And now they're telling Dark Lord, come on, brother, step up. We spent the whole game setting you up for this. He'll take the hint, at least bring down the tower, but 53 minutes in with an advantage like the one that Rune Eaters have, you get the feeling that they need to get a little bit more, and they can get a little bit more. They're just not quite putting the pieces together to finish off the puzzle. They're getting itchy. They're starting to feel the stress. The 4-star forward, the call onto 2. The Ignis matters. The setup is there. They're in trouble. Hoodwink is lost. Ghost is being controlled though. Look for a setup speed. Able to get the curse, but Ghost dies beforehand. No one's going to be enough to chalk down Malik. Copy now, popping his BKB, trying to look for the back line, but RCY still a strong force in the front. Dark Lord likely to lose that first life. Fade looking for more. Onto Malik, and Malik is dead. Rune Eaters, they're starting to lose the numbers, and Copy, he can only do so much. He's on the back, killing off the Winter Wyvern, and now he's looking for more. Mortimer's Kisses helping it out in the refresher shot. He has a bunch of remnants to work with, and they're spying onto Big Num. Somehow the Coddle still survives the last lingering burn damage.
Like how? How did he
are
live?
GamerLegion doing this?
And Rune Eaters, they just don't know how to end the game. That the way they're sieging the high ground doesn't feel like they know exactly what they have to do. They have been 4-star forward by, I think it was the Viper, both occasions. He pushed Dark Lord into the base, they hex him, they go on him. And every time that happens, they are just not really ready for it.
Not at all, no. And
Yeah,
the
every time that happens, I felt like the Ember needs to go in with the Snapfire ultimate, and they have to kill the backlines first. They don't focus the Viper first.
they're not even focusing the Viper. The Viper's just kind of killing them.
Why is Hoodwink stepping so near? Right? He was in the call. Like maybe we get to see it here. He was in the call. Like he was in front. Like why is Eki in front? Like why is he in the call?
How did he even? Yeah.
Why is he in the call?
How did he get there?
Like he just stood there. He was hitting the base.
Yeah, the squirrel's a little bit lost there.
Why?
Speed, a little bit unfortunate as well, because I think Speed could have very much saved Ghost if he got the Winter's Curse off, blinked right into a Requiem, which was unfortunate. But as you can see in the fight, no one's really focusing the Viper. RCY is just standing there, delivering the damage, and Rune Eaters can't quite deal with it. He's got a nullifier of his own. He's got an Eye of Skadi. This guy is a menace.
I think we're in for a long ride right now, Mike.
This is going to go the distance, perhaps.
Rune Eaters have no idea how to close out the game.
Maybe there's a bit more to this game than we expected. We thought for sure that Rune Eaters would be able to get a leg back. They've been able to tie up with some of the stronger teams, but GamerLegion, the grit is there for them as well. I mean, if you think about it, both these teams, the way that they play, it's the same, right? GamerLegion, they've been the underdogs for so many of these events. They're used to these positions. They're used to the better team squashing them, and they've had to wiggle their way out of tougher situations than this. This is another day in the office for the boys from NA, and they showed up to work today to play. Not ready to go down without a fight. Same thing can be said for Rune Eaters, but maybe Rune Eaters too used to being on the back foot, not too sure really how to close things out with this advantage that they have. And it really comes down to it because you mentioned as well as Copy is playing, as well as the Snapfire is playing, they can only do so much. The person that has to end the game is Dark Lord, and we're still waiting for him to step up to that plate and get the job done.
We've been waiting since 20 minutes ago.
We've been waiting since a few days ago, Winter. Even the games that Rune Eaters won, it was very hard to say that Dark Lord was the defining factor. There were moments where Ike, on his, Undying, clutch saves with the Tombstone and the Soul Rips. Malik, we don't even need to talk about that guy. Copy had an amazing game on the puck. I mean, hell, even Eki on his Bat Rider. But so far, we've yet to shout out Dark Lord's name. This hasn't really lived up to the level that his team is trying to elevate the rest of the gang to. But this is where they need him. He needs to clutch up. Has to make the right decisions and bring it home. We knew this was going to be a close series all throughout. I didn't expect the way that GamerLegion were going to crush Rune Eaters early. In fact, I thought that this game number 2 would be extremely GamerLegion-sided, but Rune Eaters have managed to carve themselves an opening. A huge opening.
I mean, it's also a team thing, like the banner part, I felt like you can't say that's
it's
the SF.
one, but
It's not the SF's problem.
I mean, he didn't even place it.
But he placed 2 banners wrongly. Like the Eki, I think both occasions he placed it wrongly.
Yeah.
It's too far forward. They just use the Manta Illusions to kill it. It's not acceptable. If they kill it by fully committing into the fight and then creating some space to kill it, fine. You know, they have to pay a price. They use buyback to kill it, but they just kill it with a Manta.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Literally,
like, how?
not even a BKB, not even an ultimate.
Like,
they're
how?
just chilling.
Like, how can that happen?
It was obscene.
Yeah, that should not be allowed to happen. Like, these are things why we always talk about, like, the tier 2 teams, tier 1.5 teams, like, in terms of the macro issues, that they're not really very, very sound. They don't really understand a lot of the small little things.
It's just the details, right? It really is
Like,
such
even
a small detail.
just a small detail, the banner placement.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
banner placement. And to everybody watching at home, you sound like a maniac right now, Winter. You're talking about the inches that the banner needs to be shifted further back, but I completely agree with you. I feel like it made such a big difference. It allows GamerLegion to take a much more favorable fight. And even in a game where Fade, he was initially struggling to find these calls. I mean, when Rune Eaters run up into them like that, when the squirrel is going to blink into range of your SF, sure, you get a 2-man call. Why not? You're gonna take that every day.
I mean, I also get the feeling where every time the game seems like it's not progressing for Rune Eaters, Eki is gonna make a mistake. He's gonna do something crazy and then he's gonna die.
And this is something that we noticed when he was standing in for Liquid most recently as well, right? I think the hallmark for him is that he gets very eager. He wants to make things happen. He wants to progress the game. So if no one else is doing it or no one else is ready, he tries to take matters into his own hands. And that often ends up harming.
That's why it's good when he's bad. If you think matter, Bat Rider. Yeah, yes. Because he can lasso someone out.
Indeed, because he actually has the prerogative to do so. But when you're on a hero like a Hoodwink, yes, you can set things up by yourself, but you're in a stage of the game where that's not viable anymore. You need to play as a team, and you need to try and tee your SF up. Not blink right next to him and get a 2-man call on yourself. And I can't believe this, but we are waiting likely for another banner, which means 60-minute items are going to be on the table more than likely in 15 seconds. Rune Eaters, they're going to make sure to try to keep GamerLegion on their side of the base so that they can't come out and farm those stones. Dark Lord's on the high ground. Okay, that was easy. That was that was easy. They didn't see that one coming. Big fight starting out. Ignis Spartus, meanwhile, copy on the back line again, being controlled up. He is doing so much for the team, creating the space for the Mortimer's Kisses, but they can't quite reach speed.
They're not hitting the racks.
Salvo of spells.
No, when they do this, the SF needs to be hitting the racks because they're making space for him to hit the racks.
I think they saw Ghost on a sentry and they got a little bit scared. The Kez was ready to put some salt in some heads. Call out. Fade, what is he doing here all alone? This is not the setup you're looking for. RCY will blink and start putting the damage out. GamerLegion trying to fight around this area, but Rune Eaters know if they can just push GL back, they can actually get the neutral item advantage. There's no need to rush right now. They're trying their best to farm up these mad stones, get towards those items. We're going to need a neutral item check real soon, but I'm sure they'll start popping out to the right.
Hirosh has popped up.
Indeed it has. Dark Lord straight into the pit. Not too concerned about mad stones, more concerned about the banner that this time for sure he'll place right. Third time's the charm, that's what they always say, Winter. It's gonna take Rune Eaters maybe 60 minutes or more to get this done, but Roche will roar, and here comes GamerLegion. An audacious Stygian Desolator. This Kez is going to be attacking at the speed of light. And Fade, he needs to land a killer initiation. Waltzing towards the pit. Smoke's not gonna break. We don't see Rune Eaters, and neither do GamerLegion. Now a little bit of a showing. All gathered around Dark Lord. He's hidden around the ring, but Ringmaster will be the one to take first contact. Not really what you want. Ache is in trouble. He's trying to use himself up. Where's the rest of the team? Copy will try and make some space. Dark Lord there with the birds! And they get themselves the Kez! Instantly blown up, and big GamerLegion, they just have to buy back. This is not the fight that they were looking for. That was such a nice setup, and from the start, game number one, we talked about Rune Eaters not able to set the traps. That's what lost them game number one. But it took them 60 minutes in game number two to finally learn that skill. And the Ringmaster, I thought this was going to be such a bad fight for the Rune Eaters, but he was just a bait in the end. Look at that setup. Malik and Dark Lord going in. Tier 5 items be damned. He couldn't get a single auto attack off while Copy just traces the axe. Doesn't allow him to get any semblance of a counter initiation. Buyback also available on the caller, but not wanting to use it because I think they understand at this point the Roach is forfeit.
Is this going to be the final banner of the game, Mike? The final hurrah.
Girl, I don't know. I feel like the game should have ended 20 minutes ago. I'm over here thinking they gotta hit the rags, things gonna be clean, you know, they're just gonna choke them out. And then in certain moments, Rune Eater's the one choking instead. I'm confused.
Okay, come on, Ike. You can place the banner better.
Yes. Believe in Ike. I mean, Ike, at this point, maybe he's a bit frustrated, right? He's like, okay, I'm done. I'm sick of y'all baiting. You guys are doing a horrendous job. I'll do it. I'll step up. I'm gonna box myself, use myself. You know, you guys have all the time in the world to set up. I don't know whether that was intentional, but it's funny that it
I mean,
gets to this point.
I have a feeling it might not be over yet.
Yeah, me too. Especially
Again,
the tier 5 items coming out.
They know how to fight outside the base, but pushing high ground is different.
That's true. Okay. Vampiric Stygian Desolator, Fleet-footed Dazun Blood. Oh, that is big for this Ringmaster. He can abandon the boots if he wants to for another item. Yeah. And the huge AoE on the Wheel of Wonder as well as the whip.
I mean, they have a couple of books, so they can use the Book of the Dead to push, I guess.
The cast range for speed as well as Big Num.
Eventually, they should be able to end the game, yeah?
Oh, the cast range is going to be pretty significant for the Wyvern, right? You get a curse in a position they don't expect.
I mean, I think it's hard for him. There's too much stuff. The Ember and the Snapfire, you can have an extra cast range with the dagger, but it's still going to be very hard to land a big ultimate. If you're counting on your pause 5 to land his ultimate on 3 heroes to win the fight, you are in already so much trouble.
All right, Winter. I have great news. The banner is in the inventory. He is going to place it. As soon as he plants it down, I want a rating 1 out of 10 for how well he's landed
He's waiting for the catapult.
He is waiting for the catapult timing. What a smart man. That's not a catapult. Those are some range creeps. 30 more seconds, baby. Game's not over yet. 60-minute shenanigans. Okay, can we get a quick recap of all the neutral items? Because you saw them one by one, but I just want to see them take stock all at once. So, Dazun Blood Rights for both the supports. Rune Eaters have a lot of AoE to initiate with. There's a Book of the Dead with Spell Amp. Ooh, that is going to hurt. I mean, Malik is close to that level 30. Ember's already there. And a Fallen Sky. That's an interesting choice from the SF. I guess maybe
to end the game.
He's scared to hit the tower, so he wants to just meteor hammer down. Meanwhile, the Minotaur Horn from the axe. Pretty interesting that the axe has also gone for a Glimmer Cape for himself. Just a bit of magic resistance and perhaps being able to hide under cover.
He wants to hide.
Yeah. It's been so tricky for him this game. I mean,
no slots for gems right now. 60 minutes.
That's true. I mean, the support's still trying to make space for it.
All right, the catapults has arrived.
Ike,
the banner of... This is the banner to end.
Destiny. This is the banner that keeps you alive at EWC. Ike, you've got to place it well. Come on now. A Ringmaster usually used to setting up circus tents. Where's the banner? Okay, there we got that. Okay,
nice.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly what you want to see if you're a Rune Eaters fan.
There you go. This is why you need the banner behind.
And look at that. How are you ever going to kill that banner?
They can't hit the banner.
They can't hit the banner, but they get forced off in the SF. Try for an attempt. Ignis Sparta's down, trying to pull him back in. Copies throwing in though.
Hit the base. Hit the base.
Dark Lord is hitting the base while the rest of the team makes space. RCY is just dead. Instant buyback. BKBs and some ultimates used. Copy needs to fish himself out of there. But this is what we were waiting for, Winter.
Progress.
This is what they needed to do.
They figured it out, Mike.
Okay, so how long more do we need to wait for the next banner?
They don't need the next
They don't need the... Okay. Just double checking. I didn't know how much longer this game is going to go on. As to be honest, I also am not fully trusting that Rune Eaters will be able to close this one out. A Divine now for the Ember. He's done enough, man. Copy has done enough for 2 games worth of Ember Spirit performances in my mind. Waiting in the sidelines, not wanting to reveal it just yet. Okay. I guess it's hard, right? What do you put out of your inventory? Maybe the BKB or the Kaya Sanj?
I think right now
it kind of sucks either way.
He needs to do the damage.
Yeah. To
help do the damage, because SF is going to get control, he's going to get focus, and somebody else needs to help. Like the Snapfire with the kisses and the Ember with the slides.
I mean, Ember is doing everything in these fights. He's solo jumping in and just using the Mortimer's kisses as cover fire. Here comes the Ember again. RCY, he's just bought back into the game. In comes Ike, Wheel of Wonder. Who has he found? Only Big Num. They got the commitment onto the Viper, and the Viper is dead. This could be the beginning of the end here for GamerLegion. BKB goes, trying to fight back. Slices up Malik. Malik doesn't stand a chance, but he has a buyback. Meanwhile, Copy's mopping up the rest of his team. What a huge Wheel of Wonder. Even if you didn't want to look at it, you'd have no choice. Fade will go down, and then it's a dieback. The hope starting to drain from the GamerLegion side. Finally, Rune Eater's banner number 3. That
Fallen
is what
Sky.
they needed. Fallen Sky coming in, but Darklord, he gets himself into a pickle. Ghost will swipe him down, but Ghost, he will return fire. And yeah, Rune Eaters gonna be very, very happy about that one, evening out the series and keeping their hopes alive. This series was extremely important because both these teams in high contention for the final qualifying spot behind Extreme, behind BB, behind